I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Hello everyone, welcome to America's Third Party. I am David Sponheim. You can definitely tell this is Technology Thursday. We've been working in the kitchen with our laptop and we're doing it. Everything is just completely automated. I love it. I started at 5, I ended the cooking show at 6. I started the show at 6 or thereabouts, and here we are. We are available at Third Party if you want to join us on Twitter. It won't show because we're heavily censored. Our follower numbers have been blocked for about 9 years now. But you will be able to at least follow our show. At the very least, that's a way to get into our show if you're out on the road and want to hear our show. You can see the Periscope link that I just posted there. And we have a Periscope show going simultaneously as well. Yeah, so apparently the FBI is locking out information from our government, which theoretically should be the people. And even though the GOP is saying they guarantee Kavanaugh's confirmation, they must have had a side vote that they got Jeff Flake to flip. But it does look like there's been serious contamination of the case based on the FBI's lack of oversight. They didn't do enough. They didn't interview 7 people. It's kind of a joke. So what we saw so far is our country not being able to function. The FBI is unable to actually do their job. And I've been noticing this for a long, long time. We were swatted 3 years ago at our house. I mean, just completely violated. And it's unbelievable what happened to us. And we called the FBI to investigate this, and they didn't even call us back. It's amazing how they operate. They seem to ignore the people of this country. So we as a people will have to overtake the two parties, essentially, to get some accountability from the FBI. That's going to be the big plan. We're going to have to lie detector test everybody at the FBI and the CIA in order to get the right kind of people who aren't going to be violating our rights as citizens. So our rights have just been violated. They didn't interview the right people to convince us that Brett Kavanaugh's lying. He was at that party, flat out. He says he wasn't there. That's a lie. There are numerous people that have come forth saying they tried to get through the FBI and they got to run around the phone message and left a message and nobody called back. So this is happening. We're seeing our country melt down with corruption at every level. And the only accountability from our nation is a third party. The good news is a third party will bring in all kinds of brand new waves of awareness. And people will start talking about how we need to clean up the environment, how we need to build technologies to clean up the environment and profit from them. The problem we have right now is Donald Trump is essentially just dodging all these attacks on him because he's basically filled with all kinds of problems. The recent bombshell report on his taxes when he was working with his father and they squirreled 413 million allegedly into Donald's pocket is a much bigger story, and we've got really good video to show you the reveal. Shepard Smith did a great job on Fox interviewing the man who did the story, and he's a multiple award winner. The journalist involved is a multiple award winner who's done numerous Pulitzer Prize, Peabody Awards, the whole thing. This guy is the best investigative journalist out there, and he uncovered the facts about Trump that are just shocking. That at one point his father realized that everything was being leveraged against Trump and he was losing money left and right. And his Fred's son, Donald, was losing money everywhere. And even Fred, they uncovered that Fred himself didn't want everything to go the way it went. And when Donald changed the will, cutting his entire older brother's family out of the will, it definitely didn't ride well with Fred, according to the expert journalists that we're going to show later tonight. This is an interview Shepard Smith did with him.
Then its investigative unit in 2002. He's the recipient of 3 Polk Awards, the Goldsmith Prize, the DuPont Silver Baton, the Daniel Pearl Award for investigative reporting, 2 Sigma Delta Chi Awards for distinguished service, a Peabody Award, and is a 3-time winner of the Pulitzer Prize.
Okay. Need I say more? I could go into the depth of what he said, but he's the guy who did the research to find out that Trump has squirreled away $413 million that he never admitted to. He said he only got $1 million from his dad. All that's not true. Based on this award-winning journalist. Now, Trump does this. He tries to attack award-winning journalists like he attacked Bob Woodward when he wrote the book about how incompetent he was and how there's people in the White House that are running it despite his behavior. That's a very interesting tell. So a lot of this is becoming like Trump denying everything, and all these experts who are uncovering facts and all kinds of information that we never knew before are being criticized by Trump as being, worthless, or, maybe the guy's fat and they call him fat. Maybe that'll get rid of him. Attacking the messenger, it's a cheap shot that Trump has been using on almost every occasion. Like that time he turned to that reporter and called her out and said she was essentially stupid. This happened a couple days ago. Yeah. Very strange story going on about that. Trump he likes to pick on people. Listen to how he insulted this woman.
It's really great to see everybody on this beautiful, beautiful day in Washington, D.C. Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I know you're not thinking, you never do. He just insulted a reporter for ABC News, Cecilia Vega. Just outright insulted her. It was not awesome. It was pathetic. It shows you what a tyrant this man is and how he's not able to actually gain support from anybody, but people live in fear of being hacked from their job, cut from their workplace. Every time they come up with anything different or questionable, you're fired, you're not very smart, you're stupid, I want you gone. It was not awesome. It was pathetic. It shows me that Donald Trump is not a leader, he's a liar. and he's trying to hold on to his power. Okay, I'll replay it if you want. By simply attacking the messenger. And this is exactly why you Trump supporters are the problem here. Because you think that's great. You think that's wonderful that somebody can just denigrate somebody who's asking questions.
It's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
In a tweet this weekend, Mr. President, you said that it's incorrect to say you're limiting the scope of the FBI investigation.
What does that have to do with trade? I don't mind answering the question, but, you know, I'd like to do the trade
It has to do with the
questions
other
later.
headline in the news, which is the
I know,
Kavanaugh
but
nomination.
how about talking about trade, and then we'll get to that. We'll do that later.
Do you think the trade,
Anybody have a trade?
Do you
Go
think
ahead,
your trade
please.
deal will pass through Congress, sir?
I think so, but, you know, if it doesn't, we have lots of other alternatives. But
What, another trade war with China? What trade deal were we talking about? I want another trade. We could easily win a trade war. I mean, this guy is over the top. Everything he does is the example of what not to do. Where's Melania, too? She went to Africa. The woman did not get blown out. She handled it in stride. I respect Cecilia. I certainly think Cecilia handled herself very well. Oh, Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're telling me what to do. Oh, Cecilia. Hey, Cecilia Vega. I wonder if she's related to that other Vega. There's another Vega, this famous newscaster. Hello, welcome to this relaxing, wonderful day as we transition to fall. I think Obama is vacationing in France. Melania is vacationing in Africa. And I'm vacationing in Northwest Washington, where I live. I think they have a relationship. Devil's Triangle, hey, you're new here. It's interesting to note that Brett Kavanaugh did the Devil's Triangle, which is a satanic ritual with women, where two men force themselves on women. So essentially the GOP wants to put a rapist, alleged rapist, in the Supreme Court to decide whether women should have abortions or not. How are we any different than Sharia law in this country? How is that any different? Could you explain that to me? We've been together 20 years, Sarah and I, faithful to each other. There's a rape accusation about about Brett Kavanaugh. There is no alleged rape? Yeah, there is a rape accusation. Yeah, an alleged rape accusation, and more than one, too. At least a woman being forced to touch a man's penis with her mouth. One woman came forth, and Brett Kavanaugh is a classic liar. He's blinking all the way. We saw our show last night, the night before. I showed you the blinking scenes where he'd sit there and he'd have like 30 blinks in 25 seconds. Talking about whether he had actually acknowledged the charges Ramirez had made, were they true? And he nodded yes. And said, no, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not, Brett. That's why your head's going up and down like a bobblehead. Brett can't hide the lies. Because blinking and nod-heading are autonomic reactions to lying. This guy is not even a good liar. And the Republicans are still standing behind him after the allegations of rape and forced oral sex with a woman named, well, I don't know exactly what the deal is there. Let's move on. Yes, Melania has started her Mandinko jam sessions where she's going to get down and boogie with some Africans. I think that's great. That's wonderful. As long as she's away from the White House, she can't wear any weird jackets that might actually show her opinion about anything, which I think is great. I wonder if Melania is going to be buying any jackets. Make sure, Secret Service, make sure she doesn't buy any jackets with any words on them. Well, yeah, women have been known to lie about rape. I've heard it happen, but not 3 women. And a whole lot of guys saying he was a sloppy drunk. Hello? You want a sloppy drunk who is alleged rapist as your Supreme Court justice to decide women's rights to pregnancy? You people are unbelievable. Yeah, I'm going to set up a special like a special merchant marine vessel we're going to give you on the West Coast and the East Coast. All the Republicans will be invited to go on this with a direct route to Moscow. We will drop you off anywhere close, anywhere you want to go. I'm not going to order you out of the country. I'm just going to say you're welcome to leave because all of you are a bunch of Russian traitors. just shocking to me. I've got to open up a couple links here that I put away for myself in a private link account. Let me go get that. Yeah. Let's see if it works. Oh. Unless you got a time machine, you can't even see the content. So much for that browser. Yeah, I'm not. If you're congratulating yourself on getting Kavanaugh appointed and being so happy about yourself, bear in mind you people are going to lose the midterms. The House is moving to the Democrats. I'm convinced of it. And I'm pushing people in that direction too. It's a shame that you people think that you got to win here, a victory. It doesn't sit that way with me. I see it as pure and utter corruption at the highest level. And the FBI not even doing a good job. That's another indication that reform is on its way. Help is on its way. They make bucks, yeah. Brett Kavanaugh can't explain his $200,000 that he got last year. That's strange, don't you think? Yeah, he can't explain it. Well, that's so much for that browser. We'll find this somehow. I've been blocked out. Blocked out of my own links. Amazing. Okay. Mark is getting a lot of lagging. It's true. No doubt about it. Oh, I think I actually spelled the brown. Let me see if I did that right. Not all Democrats are wacky. Just not all Republicans are Nazis. Well, you Republicans should rethink your party, because I think you may be on the wrong track here. You may not realize that there's some pretty corrupt elements in your party. Mitch McConnell, for one. Well, we uncovered this. It's kind of amazing. This factoid that Brett Kavanaugh was the one that actually passed this ruling that allowed foreign governments to fund American super PACs. Yeah, it's kind of amazing, isn't it? And Mitch McConnell was one of those recipients. The head of the Senate Republicans, the majority, he was one of those recipients. So Mitch McConnell is getting money from Russia, and that's only because Brett Kavanaugh made it possible. Why do you think Mitch McConnell wants Brett Kavanaugh in? Yeah, are you beginning to understand what's happening? You don't even care. Russia is controlling our entire nation. You don't get that, do you? Okay. Donald owes Russia a lot of payback. You don't get that either. Yeah, it's weird. I can't even get Twitch to open up on this browser. Amazing. The reality is Russia, I know you think it's some sort of a conspiracy against Donald because it's all a witch hunt. It's not. Russia actually has tracks all the way through his entire economic profile for the past 20 years. That's why Donald Trump won't even present his tax returns for the past 10 years, even though he said he would gladly show you your tax returns. We just had a top journalist explain that he's lied about all of his taxable income back then. I don't think unveiling a giant statue of Guan Yu in the God of War is it really, that's not what they're distracting us from, Skrizzle. And during the past few weeks, when we've been talking about this ridiculous ruling, that's probably going to be, absurd. We're actually going to find a very interesting little reality check in the coming years, and that is that the House, while we were doing this, they also passed $3.8 trillion in tax cuts for the rich. That's on top of the $1.7 trillion. So a total of I'm going to say $5 trillion for easy remembrance. $5 trillion will be forced away from our budget. We won't have $5 trillion to work with in the next 5 to 7 years. We will be short every single year, and we're already $500 billion short on the budget for the 6-month period. We're going deeper and deeper into debt, and you're like going, oh, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Trump's going to make America great again. You're like a floating bobblehead in space with no purpose, no form. You don't even know where you're going. A lot of you Trump-tards. And this is the problem. You think that every single time somebody says anything, oh, that's fake news. I can't talk. I can't hear it. It's fake news. No. So people at your dinner table are going to say, did you know he lied about his taxes and all the money he made from his dad? Oh, no. That's a witch hunt. That's fake news. I can't talk about that. And your family members are going to go, geez, is he really that stupid? And yeah, he really is. Your whole family's looking at you like a Trump-tard. Pretty soon you're going to be laughed at because you made the biggest decisions that ruined our country's future. You're going to be looked at as the cause of the problem, all of you who voted for him. Russia is working on a different level. In the news today, 7 Russian cyber hackers have been charged. These 7 military agents linked to a global cyber attack occurred. Our military, basically they were apprehended and released by the authorities in Europe. They were caught trying to get into a couple buildings.
Us today as we announce an indictment charging 7 Russian military officers with violations of several U.S. criminal laws for malicious cyber activities against the United States and its allies. I'm joined today by the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Pennsylvania, Scott Brady, the FBI's Deputy Assistant Director for Cyber, Eric Welling, and Director General of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Mark Flynn. A short while ago, the Dutch Minister of Defense and the United Kingdom's National Security Advisor held a joint press conference announcing a recent intelligence operation against several Russian agents conducting a clandestine mission in The Hague. The joint UK-Dutch intelligence operation led to 4 Russian GRU officers being caught red-handed while they attempted to breach the cybersecurity of the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons.
And these are the chemical weapons which were used. This group that was hacked were investigating the recent polonium poisoning of 2 people in England. And this is upon the heels of other investigations into how the Russian government's trying to just really try to compromise any UN oversight over weapons of mass destruction and chemical weapons. So quite the opposite of where they were a few years ago, where they claimed that they wanted to get Syria to look at all their chemical weapons. Now it looks like the GRU is up to no good, and this cyber attack and these 7 Russian military agents have been sent back home. And they're under a watchful eye of the Interpol and Interfax. They're looking into all of the different connections they've had with various agencies being breached. So Russia has been actively breaking into the security of every single Western nation they can. It's not a toupee, Willie. It's my real hair. And you guys still say, no, there's no collusion. Russia's a witch hunt. There's no collusion. Yeah, Russia is coming. And they are not going to be kind. They have one intent, and that's to destroy America. It's kind of sad. And the people of Russia don't even want that. Their leadership doesn't even want that. Because their entire country has been manipulated by the New World Order. There's a group of people, secret group of people, about 13 families that run the world. And they run Russian oligarchs. They own them. They control their destiny. And this happened many years ago with the help of George H.W. Bush and his involvement. And Ronald Reagan, well, he didn't know anything. He just, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. That's all about all he knew. But George H.W. Bush was the architect of destroying the Soviet Union. So now they're coming back with a vengeance. But they're being used by the same people that took them down. They've been hijacked. Russia itself is not the big problem here. And I have to explain that to a lot of you people who are still, well, Donald Trump is fighting the deep state. No, the deep state owns parts of our government, and the deep state owns parts of the Russian government. That's just a fact. Donald Trump is unable to do anything because he's owned. We are being hit pretty hard right now in Vaughn. Our signal strength has been dropped to next to nothing on your end, but for some reason I'm producing no drop frames whatsoever. Isn't that amazing? So we have other alternative channels for you to go to. Somebody said, is this where somebody went to run off? No. We have a free channel. It's called tikilive.com/channel/America's Third Party. If you could go to our website, hit the video casting button at americasthirdparty.com, you'll find a place to actually watch our show in really good picture and no mods whatsoever. We're trying to introduce a brand new format so that you don't have to feel like I'm punishing you and banning you if you want to hate me. As the future president, I can't possibly ban my discontented supporters or non-supporters. I just can't. So I really need to move forward and get you guys to realize there's other places to chat. Sure. But we've been pretty much censored on many levels at that channel that you're describing. And it doesn't make any sense that you can't go to another channel and watch it. iVlog is available. I've got 29 people in there right now. Hi, guys. Okay, let's take a look at the news. The GOP leaders are all but guarantee Kavanaugh's confirmation. They're not interested in hearing anything about his sloppy drunk behavior, his years of drinking heavily, friends of his attacking. Actually, Kavanaugh himself threw ice cubes at a guy at a bar for no reason, triggering a fight where his friend threw a glass and nearly hit a guy in the neck, hit his ear. I mean, the whole thing is kind of bizarre that this guy loves to drink, and now we're putting him out there as a big challenge for everybody who stands behind the case law of Roe v. Wade. And the Democrats aren't saying enough. They've fallen apart. They can't seem to organize a single thought. All they've got is Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. They have no way of communicating. It seems like they're living in the shadow of having Hillary as their horrible leader, who's still trying to, pretend like she's going to run or something. All right, here it is. I'm out of order. You're out of order. Don't you know who I am? I'm a rich, white, self-entitled, smug-arrogant, lying, alcoholic jerk. Now give me my damn Supreme Court seat. That's pretty much the size of it. Yeah. He said he didn't have to, he had to work to get into Yale. We found out his grandfather was in Yale. They grandfathered him in. He didn't have to work to get into Yale. I was kicked out of Yale. I was not allowed to get into Yale. I was a much better student than Brett Kavanaugh, and they wouldn't let me in. My 4.0 GPA was the highest at the time in the country. And many 4.0 people were trying to get into Yale, I admit that. But there were a lot of people who didn't deserve to get in there who got in with lower GPAs than I had. He was Georgetown Prep, really. Well, he went to law school at Yale, so he got in that way. Prepped at Georgetown. I believe that the number 2 reason why you think the Joint Chiefs killed our President John F. Kennedy, I don't necessarily know that's true, but you believe that's possible. I think one of the key reasons was his lack of understanding of the Bay of Pigs invasion. And he didn't want to send air support to follow up with a CIA plan that was already in process. Bay of Pigs was already laid out before JFK became president, and he was kind of taken by surprise by the whole thing. And then, of course, Missiles of October happened. And then the firing of the leaders of the CIA. He wanted to get rid of the CIA. That probably got him killed, too. There was another thing, too. Israel was being investigated for their nuclear reactor at the time, and they didn't want him, the Zionists didn't want him in any way interfering with that. Well, there's a possibility that JFK was killed by multiple sources. There were many men with guns at that event. You know what happened in 1962? Excuse me, what happened on that fateful day of the assassination? There was a series of witnesses, November 22nd, 1963, that saw him and saw various men with guns. And we saw, actually, at that day's event, 39 people reported to the FBI that they saw men in trench coats with guns. And guess what? Not one of those people lived past 1976. 39 witnesses saw men with guns, and all of them were dead by 1976. So in a matter of about almost 15 years, every one of those witnesses were killed. Now, Caltech did a study on the probability of that happening, all 39 witnesses to the shooting of JFK being killed. And it was 1 in 10 trillion possibility that was happening. So what we're seeing is witnesses to events are being killed and targeted. And this is also true of the 9/11 attack. There were 14 or 15 witnesses directly under the attack that were mistakenly, or they were killed. We still don't know why they were killed, who were open witnesses to the event and had a lot of differing opinions. So they kill witnesses to these events. That's what they do, and that's how they suppress any evidence of it getting out. I was shocked to hear that statistic. I heard that back in the 70s. Well, that's the thing. The people in trench coats with guns didn't want to be known, and these witnesses had seen them. So there's a lot to be looked at, and JFK assassination is still an open case, in my opinion. The Warren Commission was a joke. Yeah, no wonder the aliens won't visit. Did you hear that extraterrestrial, or rather unidentified flying objects have dropped? The number of sightings have dropped by 55%. Yes, it's Technology Thursday. What do you want to talk about it? Some people believe that our technology that we have today has been reverse engineered, that we've been getting alien support for decades. I don't believe that. I don't. They claim that Wernher von Braun was actually intimate in the knowledge of how to create spacecrafts like Martian spacecrafts, that Hitler had been studying the VRIL project and had learned to do this. I think it's the military. Yeah, at this point. When Donald Trump talked about creating a space force, I thought that was a big farce, because we've had a space force since 1946. But I'm a person who's actually seen unidentified space objects that are impossible to even describe how they can do that. If I'm a threat to Russian control of the United States, then they definitely, if you heard that and I'm putting down as testimony, then I'm going to have to record that. Yeah. October 4th, 2018, Dateline. I Love Fries says that they heard from Mark that I'm a threat to Russian control in the United States. Okay, I'll add that to my file. Thank you. Well, I'm keeping a running file of all these statements that you say Mark is making. Well, it's all very simple when you look at it that way in the framework of me trying to stop the Russian takeover of our nation. Yeah, hey, Scissor Fight. If that's the case, then we've got a serious situation on our hands. Because there has been a directed effort to censor me on this channel that you guys are describing. And I could never explain it. And then I found out through other sources that people are making money left and right, and there's lots of money flowing to try to stop me. Well, I figured it all out. It even looks suspicious when I look at James Comey. He rigged the election against Hillary. And I'm not a fan of Hillary, believe me. I consider her very disturbing and needs to be investigated. But Trump won't even investigate her, which is kind of strange. But we saw that what James Comey did was to help Donald Trump win. And when Trump told Lester Holt of NBC that he was just wanted to end the Russian thing, it might have been even more intense than that. He might have just wanted to end, in any mere thought that Comey could have done something. By firing Comey, it was a strategic move to make him not suspicious in any way. That, Comey was allegedly investigating him, but didn't talk about it. He had the dossier for 5 months before the election, but instead chose to say that Hillary Clinton was going to be criminally investigated 11 days before the election. And his defense is that he knew Hillary would win, and he didn't think telling people that she'd be criminally investigated would be affecting the election. That's absurd. That's mindlessly absurd for a director of the FBI to ever say such a thing. So James Comey needs to be investigated as part of the Russian collusion factor. He does. So we've got a lot of people that seem to have done a lot of work for Russia to get Donald Trump elected. Now, these 7 new investigations, 7 people have been indicted for cyber terrorism, like that clip I just played you. These 7 people are out in the world, still running around because they weren't allowed to be detained because they were diplomats. So Russia's been sending GRU people in as diplomats with immunity, using all kinds of ways of leeching technology and passwords and information by setting up mobile spots that actually act like Wi-Fi hotspots. So you're going along thinking, well, I'm going to get a Wi-Fi hotspot here. I'll just send my email through that. That happened to be in Washington or in other countries where they're operating, in Switzerland and the Netherlands. They actually were picking up all these passwords from top people and experts that were investigating the Russians. So they were doing some serious spy work right there in the field, and they've been called out, these 7 men, as being agents of Russia. Now, Russia has no comment. They claim this is just kind of like Trump says this big, witch hunt. They're using the same excuse method. But this is getting really serious. And let's not forget that during the first year that Trump was president, he actually suggested that Russia should take over our cyber terrorism activities. Seriously. When Pompeo, now Secretary of State, but former director of the CIA, was first hired, the day he was hired, he met with Russian cyber terrorism experts. They were planning on moving all of our cyber terrorism security to Russia. This I'm explaining to you is the inner workings, or the third rail of our government, that is also working in Russia too. They control Vladimir Putin and they control Russian operations. They're using all their methods to slowly erase the superpowers. They believe that they can control it through money. They believe they can control our country through money. The New World Order, that's right. And they're using these monetary means of buying people like oinky oinky Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin, very, very greedy people. Putin, they say, is worth $200 billion. Trump has got chump change. He doesn't have hardly anything compared to these people. These people are trillionaires. You don't read about them in Forbes. You don't read about them anywhere. And they're capable of running agents out of Russia to look into any legitimate agency that's intercepting their methods and their plan.
This GRU target and an additional laboratory in Switzerland that was their next target were analyzing the deadly Russian nerve agent recovered in the UK following an assassination attempt, as well as other chemical agents that were used in Syria against innocent civilians. The prime ministers of the Netherlands and the United Kingdom issued a joint statement condemning the Russian behavior. We're including a copy of their statements in the materials provided to all of you in this room and online at justice.gov. Our indictment today charges some of the same Russian operatives caught in The Hague, along with their colleagues in Moscow, as part of a conspiracy to hack a variety of individuals and organizations in the United States, Canada, and Europe to obtain information or access that was then exploited for the benefit of the Russian government.
All right, so the GRU has been working secretly, terrorizing various Western nations. We are clearly at a high level of risk, being Donald Trump continues to support Russia, and you Republicans continue to stand there and act like it's all a good thing. You are becoming a potential threat to our nation's stability. A lot of you Republicans don't realize that your seemingly belligerent mindset has actually put our country in a very vulnerable position. If we were to go to war with Russia right now, Trump would literally be calling Putin and asking him where to send the troops. Okay, this is Feinstein directly after she read the new FBI Kavanaugh report. Let's take a look. It's a close-up on Feinstein. Does this look like a confident woman? No, it doesn't. I'll play that later tonight. It's got a monetizable song attached to it. Yeah, she's not very confident. She was the one person, this woman was the one person that could have stood in the way of all this corruption at every level. But she never did anything other than make a stand at one point talking about, the CIA's lack of transparency. But when all these cases started mounting where it looked like our government, the NSA, was engaged in warrantless wiretapping, she did nothing. She's been there for over 25 years at the head of a committee that could have easily stood up to these people, but she didn't do anything. So she's kind of lost in her own little world of wanting to get reelected. It's a shame that our country has been put in a position where we have such weak leaders who are afraid to stand up to these secret societies that are literally controlling our future. And every single day that we do nothing and do not build this third party, we are walking toward our destiny, and it's not pretty. We are heading toward an abyss of darkness which will put individual freedom at the farthest end of the back of the bus, and will push instead a totalitarian police state in which people will be killed recklessly by cops, like we have right now. 1,200 people a year average get killed by cops, and most of them are unarmed. So we're just basically pretending like we're going to do something. We're not doing anything. We're not going to be able to stop these people because they are trying to control every aspect of our country, and they control Russia too. So we are perhaps one of the last barriers to their big plan, their final solution. A lot of people are not standing up in America. They're just sitting there thinking, well, they're voting left versus right. Your illusion of choice is not solving the problem. It may have in your past made you feel better that you voted. Maybe Brett Kavanaugh will be nominated and then ratified. He's been nominated. Maybe he will be ratified. Does it even matter? We're still so far down that road to ruin that it wouldn't matter who he is or what he has to say. The people that are in charge of people like Brett Kavanaugh can buy him with national baseball season tickets. It's not easy. Somebody paid his $200,000 debt off recently. Is that in any files in the media? Have you seen exactly who paid his $200,000 debt off recently? No. So I allege that Brett Kavanaugh has taken a bribe, a big bribe of $200,000. That alone would make him ineligible for the nomination to SCOTUS. Accepting bribes is a complete and utter violation of national law. Thank you. Sir David Attenborough, population growth has come to an end. That's not the way the numbers are showing. In fact, we're seeing population growth continually rise. We're expecting populations of nearly 10 billion on the planet. And nobody seems to understand we have to start distributing the food and the water properly, not giving it to the Rothschild family to control. But he believes population's come to an end. Growth has come to an end. Huh? Well, it's nice to live in a fool's paradise, but That's not going to fly. Maybe they plan on committing genocide. Maybe you know something we don't know. Hi, Sarah. Brett Kavanaugh's not on trial. He does the same innocent until proven guilty doesn't apply here. If there's a propensity for these senators to think that this guy's a sloppy drunk or may have raped this woman, then they need to act on that. I never said that China was our ally, Sammy. I said our allies and our trading partners like China. That's a direct quote from me the other day. All right. Try not to misquote me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah, for coming in.
All right, thanks for, looks like you made waffles, huh?
Yeah, I made a waffle mix, the chicken waffle concept. I'm still working on the idea. I put mozzarella in the middle, so I'm going to try to... I had a taste of it. It's very tasty.
Interesting.
Yeah. I did a kind of a 6 meals for $4. All right.
Yeah.
You can copy anything you
Yes,
want.
absolutely. You can go to youtube.com/America's Third Party, and that is where David uploads every single day. He uploads the show at the end of the day to that channel, and feel free to watch the show repeatedly and find the exact quote from David.
We've never seen China as an ally, but under Bill Clinton, he changed their status to First Nation trading status. That's a significant change, but we're not allies in that respect, no. I said our allies and trading partners. Thank you.
And China is a trading partner. That much is true. So Dark Engine has a link about an NBC article that says Amazon cuts bonuses, which leads to questions about a wage hike. Like, how are they going to afford to increase wages if they cut bonuses? Yeah, I guess David doesn't drink very much. Guest 0 bed 4. Alright, let me go like that, and then... I look like a piñata or a cloud or something. I like the word cloud rather than piñata. I'd rather be something that you look at and admire in the sky rather than you look at and try to beat with a stick. I don't want to do that. So yes, I'm more like a cloud. Yes, let's do a little trivia, shall we? 681. I think that's a great idea. I always learn so much from this trivia book. Oh, chat is not currently available. That's weird. Alright, we're working on learning about life sciences, and we're working on the letter F. What is a chemical reaction in which sugars are broken down into smaller molecules that can be used in living systems? Alcoholic beverages such as beer, wine, and whiskey are all made from the controlled use of this. By the way, it's an anaerobic process. Correct? Electric Paisley, yes. Correct. 542, correct. The answer was fermentation. Yes. Fermentation. All right, what is the joining of certain cells to form a new living things? When two of these cells join together, the resulting cell divides into a multi-celled structure that implants into the womb and grows into an embryo. What's that process called? Correct, Electric Paisley? It is fertilization. In plants, pollen grains containing the male cells enter the female cells in the pistil. From this union, fruit eventually grows. When fertilization occurs within a single flower, we call it self-fertilization versus as compared to cross-fertilization. What is the embryo of an animal that bears its young alive rather than laying eggs? In humans, the embryo is called this after all major body structures have formed. This stage is reached about 60 days after fertilization. Yes, but there's only 2 vowels in that word, 542 and 681. You got it, Bingo and Electric Paisley. It is fetus. Traditionally, what is a class of vertebrates that breathe with gills rather than lungs? They live in water. They generally lay eggs, although some do bear their young alive. Some biologists consider these a superclass, and they divide them into 3 different classes. Yes, 681, yes, and Electric Paisley. It is fish. So the 3 different classes, they consider fish a superclass, and then the 3 classes they divide them into are bony fishes, like sunfish and cod, fishes with skeletons form of cartilage rather than bone, that would be sharks, like sharks, and fishes that lack jaws, like lampreys. By the way, fish are cold-blooded animals. All right, new clue. What are plants referred to, especially the plants of a particular time, place, and time? That is flora. So it's interesting. Fauna are the animals, flora are the plants. Good job, Scrizzle. All right, what is the part of a plant that produces the seed? It usually contains petals, a pistil, and pollen-bearing stamens. Bearing stamens, yes. The part of the plant that produces the seed and has petals. Yes, 542 and bingo, you are right. It is a flower. What is a model that describes the structure of cell membranes? In this model, a flexible layer made of lipid molecules is interspersed with large protein molecules that act as channels through which other molecules enter and leave the cell. And there's 3 words here. It's a 3-word answer. It's a model. One of the words is model. It's not 3. They don't all start with the letter F. It's a fluid mosaic model. And I would not have answered that correctly if I were on the receiving end of that clue. So you know. Fluid mosaic model. Why? Okay, I don't know why we're unable to chat over at Periscope, but okay. What are the series of steps by which energy is obtained, used, and transformed by living things? For example, sunlight helps grain to grow, the grain feeds the cattle, and humans eat the cattle. Harmful chemicals can be concentrated as they move up this. 2 words. Okay, I will type the questions. Okay, I could type the clues. You're right, bingo. Alright. The series of steps by which energy is used. Example, sun, grain, cattle, human. Answer: food chain. All right, next one. In botany, what is the part of a seed bearing plants that contains the fertilized seeds? Yes, you're right, 471. It is fruit. All right, you're good. Electra Paisley, do I still have to type? The fertilized seeds are capable of generating a new plant. Fruit develops from the female part of the plant. Apples, peaches, tomatoes, and many other familiar foods are fruits. All right, good job. Let me know if it goes back and I'll go back to typing. What are plant-like organisms lacking chlorophyll? Like mushrooms, molds, yeasts, mildews. Modern biologists tend to place these in their own kingdom, not in the plant kingdom, because they get their nutrients from other living things or the remains of living things that have died, rather than from photosynthesis. Dr. Paisley, bingo's right. Greek god right. Yes. Fungi. Oh, sorry, Scrizzle, because it's always like, maybe it's just lag on your end, I don't know. All right, now we're finished with the category that starts with the letter F. So we're finished with F. What is a reproductive cell having a single set of chromosomes, especially a mature sperm or egg? Correct, 471. Is a gamete. I said gamete. I don't say gamete. Gamete. Alright, what is a technique used in DNA fingerprinting and other processes in which large molecules are to be identified? Fragments of DNA are placed in a semi-porous gel and an electrical field is turned on. The fragments move in response to the field, with smaller fragments generally moving faster. After a time, the fragments have separated enough to form a series of separated lines, like a barcode that characterizes the DNA.
Helix.
Nope.
code?
It is called gel electrophoresis, and I totally would not have gotten that. Even though I've done that, I never really referred, I didn't remember it was gel electrophoresis. I didn't remember the electrophoresis part. All right. But it is used with genetic sequencing, so you are right. Anyways. As pH, electro is electro, but then it's PHORESIS. All right, what is a portion of a DNA molecule that serves as a basic unit of heredity? They control the characteristics that an offspring will have by transmitting information in the sequence of nucleotides on short sections of DNA. Correct, Electric Paisley. Correct, 471542. It is gene. Yes, I didn't say what letter we moved on to, but I assumed you knew your alphabet, and I said I'm finished with F. So yes, we're on to G. All right, new clue. What is a process in a cell by which a particular gene is replicated so that more copies are available to produce a protein for the cell's use? For example, the genes that code for proteins involved in ribosomes are amplified early in the process of cell development so that there are sufficient numbers of them to assemble the cell. PCR, polymerase chain reaction, can be considered a type of man-made gene. Can be one form that's man-made is PCR, polymerase chain reaction. You guys put gene therapy close enough. It was gene amplification. Gene amplification. What is the process of determining where genes are located on individual chromosomes? Genetic CPS? Genetic GPS. Yeah, close enough. They do call it genetic mapping. Genetic mapping. What is the controversial legal practice that is surrounding that happens when they find a newly discovered gene? This allows unique segments of DNA, which perhaps code for a certain disease or a certain protein, to be owned by an individual or corporation. Yes, exactly, 471. Gene patenting. Patents. A gene patent. Exactly. Like it's genetic copywriting, but gene patent. What are the total number of genes available in a given species? Loosely speaking, this represents the total breeding stock available to the species. Correct again, 471. It's the gene pool. Maybe 471 is an AI, and they're just testing them in our room. I don't know. What is a term used to refer to the process by which DNA of an organism is cut and a gene, perhaps from another organism, is inserted? This is often used in industry to allow single-celled organisms to produce useful products, such as human insulin. It's also used in the production of genetically modified organisms. Yes, good job. 542 and 471, of course. And Electric Paisley. Thank you, guest 6EFA2. I love you. It's gene splicing was the answer. What is a promising technology that involves replacing a defective gene in the body with a healthy one? It can be done by removing cells from the body, using genetic engineering techniques to change defective sequences in the DNA,
Cloning.
and then reinserting the cells. This technique has been carried out successfully, for example, on bone marrow cells, in which defective cells were successfully replaced with healthy genetically engineered cells. Scientists hope to find an agent such as a virus that will be able to correct defective DNA in situ.
Institute. I love this. This is a super chicken waffle. It's really
You were
good.
right,
I made
Electric
tahini
Bee.
sauce with it.
Oh, good.
Who got that?
Gene therapy was Electric Paisley.
Good.
Got that answer.
I'll be back.
We might get through the gene stuff while you're gone.
Okay.
Probably not. There's a lot of gene stuff. All right. What is a code that translates the sequence of nucleotides in genes along the DNA strand into the structure of protein, which through its action as an enzyme governs one chemical reaction in a cell? A simple mnemonic is one gene was this for one protein which runs one reaction. David said he could cook chicken and waffles. I don't know why he didn't tell you. He told me. They called it genetic code, but okay, genetic transcription, sure. Oh, you asked much earlier? That's strange, I don't know. Not chicken fillet waffles, no, but some kind of chicken waffles. He thinks like chicken and waffles, like you cook the chicken in the waffles? And I was trying to explain to him that it's chicken, like fried chicken served on top of waffles, and they just pour maple syrup over both the chicken and the waffles, but I don't think he heard me. I don't think he wanted to hear me. I know, Skrizzle. David does chicken in waffles rather than chicken and waffles. I do love waffles. I'm a big waffle fan. I actually make a really good waffle. But I don't normally put chicken in my waffles. We'll just pull this up and... Here, I'll just leave this. Thanks, Bingo. You can eat waffles anytime you want. That I wouldn't doubt David might try it for 7-1, but I haven't yet. Egghead, I probably will. I'll try it. Alright, that was genetic code. What is a term that describes the random fluctuations in a gene pool over time? In large populations, the effect of this are negligible. And I would go with mutations too. It said genetic drift. genetic drift is what they said, but I agree, it's like variation, mutation. What is the manipulation of DNA to produce new types of organisms, usually by inserting or deleting genes? This has been developed commercially with uses such as producing human insulin or bacteria that will keep plants from freezing in a mild frost. It is also used to produce GMOs, genetically modified organisms. U.S. courts have ruled that the products of this can be patented. There's often controversy about the risk involved in releasing these into the environment. Correct, 471. Genetic engineering. Whew. What is the study of heredity, or how the characteristics of living things are transmitted from one generation to the next? Every living thing contains the material that makes up DNA molecules. This material is passed on when organisms reproduce. The basic unit of heredity is the gene. So therefore, it is called genetics. Yes, indeed. We still have a couple gene things left. All right, what is the sum of all information contained in the DNA for any living thing? The sequence of all the nucleotides in all the chromosomes of an organism. So all of the information contained in the DNA for all living things and the sequence of all the nucleotides in the chromosomes of an organism. And they had a big human project. Ticken's got it, yes. Sure, I'm not sure. No, you spelled gnomes, but I know that you meant to add an E to make it genomes. I like that, Ticken. Let me pull up some pictures. Yes, genomes. All right, time to look at some gnomes. Ticken said, "I'm bored of this game. Let's talk about gnomes." Ooh, let's talk about gnomes. Gnomes. Yes. No, David, I'm going to remove all your desktop regions. 1, 2, 3, 4. At least. And then we're going to put in the whole monitor so everybody can see how many tabs David has open. Woohoo! Alright, gnome. This article is about the fictional humanoid type of creature. For the garden ornament, see garden gnome. For the humorous usage on Wikipedia, see Wikipedia Wiki Gnome. For other uses, see gnome. This page contains material which has been kept because it's considered humorous. Please do not take it too seriously. Yeah, he always has that many tabs open. Okay, a wiki gnome is a wiki user who makes useful incremental edits without clamoring for attention. Wiki gnomes work behind the scenes of a wiki, tying up loose ends and making things run more smoothly. Examples of wiki gnome-like behavior includes fixing typos, correcting poor grammar, creating redirects, adding categories, and repairing broken links. Typical behavior are ticking the "this is a minor edit" box before saving any edit and not providing an edit summary. The wiki gnome is the original example of wiki fauna, having originated in the first wiki web. Wiki gnomes are also known as wiki gardeners. Many highly active wiki contributors exhibit wiki gnome-like behavior as part of their work, while others may limit themselves to wiki gnome activity. Wiki gnomes are considered to be friendly, like wiki fairies and wiki elves. The rough opposite of a wiki gnome is a wiki troll. Wiki gnomes love to work in the shadows, making what are called minor edits in various nooks and corners of Wikipedia. Look at recent changes and you may even spot one at work. Wiki gnomes who are feeling familial or desirous of a grander sense of purpose often adopt a typo, gaining fulfillment by raising themselves into existence on the article namespace. Of course, editors are encouraged to garner up some courage and come into the light of day as a gesture of open friendliness and make their edits in a straightforward manner without being afraid of what others think.
I think I'll get my jacket on. It's getting kind of nippy.
Okay, yes, I have on my, I have on a under thing.
Oh, good.
I always wear it starting October 1st. Further examples of wiki gnome-like work include adding ISBNs of books that people mention, making an entry for their articles in the list of books by title, tracking down the authorship of someone once said quotations, organizing word pairs into tables, repairing links to disambiguation pages, adding links to text already in an article or to useful categories, adding redirects, finding sources for citation needed tags, adding examples and details to information referred to in the text. For example, adding such as silence in Deep River to the line, Shaku Endo has written important books. Oh, clarifying vague information in the text. For example, replacing the 2009 flu pandemic was the first in 40 years with the 2009 flu pandemic was the first since the 1968 Hong Kong flu. How to identify wiki gnomes. Care and feeding of wiki gnomes. See also in references. So how to identify wiki gnomes. A list of Wikipedians who wish to advertise their status as wiki gnomes. They have a whole category. If they so choose, users can advertise their wiki gnome-like qualities on their pages by adding a user box to their user page with the following code. Oh, they can put in, and it says this editor is a wiki gnome.
You know, I'm at the point where I can actually get rid of my Howard Dean JCPenney suit now. I have the George with the 2 pairs of slacks. I could travel with this.
No good.
Yeah, it's the ultimate outfit. Purchased at Walmart, except I bought it at a thrift store for $5. Yeah, so thank you so much, Sarah. I'm glad you can come in and give me that. I made you a little dinner, and you're welcome to have whatever you want. There's some vegetables with it. I made Brussels with the, and I made a tahini sauce that goes very well with that. You might just
mentioned
enjoy
that.
it. Yeah,
Where's the tahini sauce?
it's on the counter.
Okay.
It's a yogurt container with tahini in it.
I brought some yogurt.
Oh.
Somebody gave me
Okay.
because they had bought whole yogurt and they meant to buy low-fat yogurt, and I said, "Well, I'll eat almost."
Is
any
it
yogurt."
whole plain?
It's Greek plain whole yogurt.
That's good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be very, very tasty. Thank you. I know, I've got the George look. Thank you, Sarah.
We were talking about genomes, and somebody typed in gnome instead of genome
Yeah.
because they forgot to eat first E. So then somebody said, "Sarah, I'm bored of trivia. Let's talk about gnomes."
Gnomes, oh yeah,
So
like
I
garden
talked
gnomes
about
or...
wiki gnomes. But we could talk about garden gnomes.
Well, there's the gnomes that you get when you go on Travelocity. You see that little gnome parked everywhere. That's their mascot, I believe. No belt. No, I'm beltless. I'm amazed these things actually have stretchable midriffs. So, you know, if you feel like you've had a dinner and you have a little stretch, it gives now. That's what it's great about these plants that George makes. Yeah, no one should have a restriction around their midsection. Stretchable midriff, is that what it is? Sansa belt? Yeah, it's kind of nice. I guess I am. I just happen to have everything going for me, which is nice. Not everyone's born normal. I could have been a thalidomide child. My mother was smart enough to not take thalidomide, even though her doctor gave her thalidomide prior to giving birth to me. Yeah, she actually got a whole bottle of thalidomide. Say, oh yeah, this will be really good for you. It'll help relax you. Thalidomide children are born without arms and legs. And my mother was so smart to not have taken it. She didn't trust new drugs. And I was born with arms and legs, thankfully. So if you've ever seen somebody born without arms and legs, they're called basket cases. I mean, that's what they call them. They literally have to be carried around in a basket. It's the most horrifying thing you've ever seen. It's just, and I can tell you honestly that I carried a basket case when I was an usher in Hollywood, one of my many jobs. And I had to pick this man up from the ground and carry him to his seat, and he was looking straight at me, eye to eye. And he said, "Thank you so much for doing this." And it just really, really hit me hard, you know. He was appreciative of all the people that helped him, but what a life to be born with no arms and legs, you know? Thalidomide is helpful in cancer treatments? No kidding. Are you serious? Well, thanks for sharing. I guess it doesn't affect men as much because they're not going to have birth defects, but it does seem like it would alter your genes, don't you think? I had to put him on a pillow and put his basket on a pillow for him to see the show. I was an usher at a famous show, Beatlemania. I wouldn't do anything for money. You think I've been offered $200 million to stop what I'm doing, and I would not do that. Why would I take $10 million to marry a woman with no arms and legs? That's just so weird that you'd even say that. You don't even know what you're dealing with, do you? You don't even value the benefit of having a non-materialistic person with my IQ run for president. You don't even value that. No, I wouldn't stop doing this for $200 million. They offered me $200 million. Yeah, I said no. This is worth billions, this entire operation. There's no monetary value to what we're doing. It has equity, it has massive equity that they're afraid of. Nugget. Okay. You know, I can't even mention IQs around people that I have to kick. That's too bad. You know, you should hang out at the site we have over here with, there's no mods here. We've got this new site that we're featuring, Tiki Live. You can get to it by going to America's Third Party and clicking on video casting buttons, but it's kind of nice to give people, trolls, a place to go, because I want to populate it with trolls, people that just hate me. And I think it's kind of cool to have that alternative view. Here they said, "I love you, Sarah. Don't tell Dave though. I looked like hobo. It looked like hobo food. I should buy you some apple fritters." And Dave, you couldn't get in because you didn't drink enough. And Willie Pickles says this room is a lot better. So you should hang out there, Willie. I'm watching it. I don't think we can talk about things like that. Urban Dictionary terms. I made a nice white tahini sauce with the chicken waffles I made. They were better than last time. They were. Very tasty. I think I went with the sesame oil and the ginger. It kind of helped. I don't make hobo food. I make creative alternative cooking, I call it. Because I'm using very cheap ingredients, but I'm looking for really good quality cheap ingredients, not just any cheap ingredient. Oh, really? British actor had horror conversation with a British actor who was a thalidomide child. Here's one. Yeah.
In Charleston, West Virginia. Mr. Fraser, it has been nothing less than a joy to have you here this weekend. I hope you enjoyed your time with us.
I have indeed. Please call me Matt. I feel that I've become Matt to you guys and not Mr. Fraser. You've made me feel so welcome. I feel like part of your weird family.
That is the damn truth, let me tell you.
So that would have been me with small arms if my mother had just taken those pills. Yeah, good luck. Hey, they got 7 hackers under their view. GRU Russian hackers have been targeted by our agencies and England's agencies. Interfax has charged them with cyber attacks upon various sources that were trying to investigate chemical weapons of mass destruction. And these Russians are doing something horrible, really, when you think about it. They seem to be upset that their women who were in the Olympics and men were not allowed to participate because of the doping issue. So these hackers started attacking the anti-doping agencies around the world, and then they went into a deeper section and went after people developing chemical weapons that may be used. They want to know what we know. I have shaken the hands of claw people. Yes. A guy I knew in college he had a claw hand. It was his shaking hand, and he always made a point of shaking with it. He'd reach you out, and his 2 claws and you'd always shake his 2 claws. That was one experience I had, and then I had another experience where I met a woman with a congenital hand disorder who happened to be one of the most famous newscasters in the country at the time. The beautiful Bree Walker, who went from, when I met her, really beautiful blonde to a woman who's had some facial reconstructive surgery. And the woman I met was this woman right here. Absolutely beautiful woman. Just gorgeous. I had a girlfriend who was a executive in Hollywood, and she had a chance to meet. She was friends with Bree Walker, and Bree Walker has these claw hands. And she decided to have a baby with claw hands too. That was her decision. She felt that it was her right and her decision, but I never could figure out why she had so many positive things going for her until I realized that she had something not so positive going on. She liked to drink, and alcohol pretty much led to Bree Walker kind of changing her life. She married Jim Lampley. When I knew her, she was married to Greg Walker, who's a famous director, but he does a lot of TV work to this day. And I had a chance to meet Greg Walker. I spent an entire evening driving around in a car with him talking. But I knew Bree Walker just shortly for that night, and I really I think people who exude such tremendous confidence like she did in this picture really didn't have it all there. It's the old adage, fake it till you make it. A lot of people live by that adage, and you can tell when they finally reach that point and they don't really know what to do. So always beware, that could be you. As Kavanaugh vote looms, GOP Senator Steve Daines says he's going to his daughter's wedding and won't be available to vote anytime on Saturday. Okay. So Steve Daines will not be able to vote, so you can count his vote out. So we'll have a matching vote now with the Republicans, Democrats, if it goes to Saturday. So you Democrats and Republicans hold off till Saturday, and then Steve Daines won't be there. There you go. It's not that important to him. Sammy, that's inappropriate discussion. We don't talk sex here. There's a sexy way of talking about politics without being weird like you are. Where there's a claw, there's a way. I think that the fact that these people had overcome such tragic birth defects is amazing. There's a young man in our area who is essentially that way, and he is one of the fastest electric cars in town. He rolls around faster than anybody can even imagine. He gets around, and I understand he's also the self-acclaimed Grand Poobah of the KKK. So. Yeah, I mean, he's taken a very strange political position. I don't know him personally, but I did see his statement on Craigslist. All right. Play this, Electric Paisley. The Shadow of the Thalidomide Tragedy. Ooh, yeah, that'll be good. I'll play that tonight so everyone can appreciate having arms and legs. You really do appreciate being normal when you see people in these conditions. Wow. I remember Connie Chung, yeah. She's famous. She married Maury Povich, was it? That Ashkenazi? Yeah, we have a little guy who he considers himself like an important guy in the KKK. He dresses in it's just so weird. I can't even imagine it. He actually posts this photograph in Craigslist ads, and he's very, very, very pro-America, but he's also against everything else. Yeah. Connie Chung got offered to Robert Shapiro for sex favors, my Maury for scoops in the OJ case. You're telling me that Connie Chung was put out by her husband, Maury, to offer sex for scoops on the OJ? Sir, wait, how do you know this? That's just insane. You're making all this stuff up. Connie Chung was molested, and Maury's going to reveal the results after this commercial. Hold on just a second. Let's go to Connie Chung and Maury Povich. Not so live. I want to see a group picture here. Oh, they have a son too, and a daughter. And their net worth is $14 million. I'll be darned. I don't think it's appropriate for you to disparage a lovely couple like Maury and Connie. I mean, look at them. They just seem like good people. Yeah, I mean, surely you jest. Okay, we're going to dispense with Sir David Attenborough's belief that population growth has come to an end. Sure, I believe that. And here's chicken and waffles. You can get them together at many restaurants. So I fused them together into a waffle. And I made a super chicken waffle today in my cooking show, which you can download for free at youtube.com/David John Sponheim.
Order 10995 allows the government to seize and control the communication media.
Whoa. Hey, we've been attacked on our cell phones. If you've got a cell phone and your cell phone was off, it was turned on by FEMA. It happened yesterday. Many people were completely shocked that their cell phone could be turned on remotely. That means they can turn your cell phone on and listen to your conversations when you have your battery hooked up to it, but it's off. Pretty sneaky, huh?
Executive Order 10997 allows the government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. Executive Order 10998 allows the government to seize all means of transportation, including personal cars, trucks, or vehicles of any kind, and total control over highways, seaports, and waterways. Executive Order 10999 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms. Executive Order 11000 allows the government to mobilize civilians into work brigades under government supervision. Executive Order 11001 allows the government to take over all health, education, and welfare functions. 1002 designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons.
Okay, so if you wrote that down, the quiz will be coming up in 15 minutes. Otherwise, you'll be zip-tied and RFID chipped and sent to the FEMA camps. If you perform in less than 2 out of 5 questions, you will be terminated. I just can't believe what a sick world we're becoming with this draconian mentality of our government leaders, and then Trump being in the back pocket of the Russians. All the Russians would have to do is to tell Trump that he's going to, have a big event in America and we're going to have a pandemic or something, and then zip tie everybody up, send them in the FEMA camps, and Russia will clean up the FEMA camps. That's all they got to do. We're that close to complete devastation in this nation, and we don't even know it with Trump as our president. Because he will not stand up to the most important issue and say emphatically that Russia contaminated our election. He keeps acting like it's a Russian hoax. It's ridiculous. This guy is completely lost. Lost and all alone. Chris Arch story? Okay.
Greifswald, a small town.
Oh, more basket case stories coming tonight on the Thalidomide channel. Okay, thank you. Boy, I really opened up a can of worms here. Literally, we're going to be seeing thalidomide children all night long. Well, thank goodness I'm not one. Yeah. I count my lucky stars. Okay, you didn't say it. Connie Chung said it here in an article. Okay, let's take a look. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, Connie Chung is going to be entering the room in an article. Hold on, please. We're just adding so much stuff to our library of thalidomide children. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, you really are really good at link sharing, aren't you? Okay, Connie, you want to speak up now? That's me. That's not me. Connie Chung, ladies and gentlemen. She says, I was sexually assaulted by a doctor who delivered me as a baby. Oh, come on. Are you serious? I mean, is this not weird or what? Do we want to talk about Judge Brett Kavanaugh? There's not much to talk about. He likes beer. And he allegedly held a woman down and held her mouth, allegedly. What else is there to talk about? Okay, there's a 12-minute video on the text that Donald Trump sent. Thank you, Scissor Fight, on 153 News. Excellent. Let me flip that right away so I have it. Did they find Risen or not? Yeah. We're going to sing a little song tonight called House of the Rising Sun. We'll be at the end of our show. We'll kick off with House of the Rising Sun. I'll add that to there as flipping. Flip, flip, flip. Okay. I don't understand. Are we still talking about Brett Kavanaugh? Hasn't that been put to rest already? Whether he gets nominated or accepted, ratified or not, it's irrelevant. The Supreme Court is crooked. Most of them are crooked. Look at Clarence Thomas. I mean, come on. What's another one going to do? Thalidomide Thursdays. Ooh, great name. Let's talk about this situation Connie Chung allegedly had. Television journalist Connie Chung appears at a news conference January 23, 2002 in New York City to discuss her move from ABC to CBS. TV journalist Connie Chung has revealed that she was sexually assaulted in a new op-ed supporting Kavanaugh accuser Christine Blasey Ford. I too was sexually assaulted, Connie Chung wrote in a letter to Ford published by the Washington Post Wednesday. I've kept my dirty little secret to myself, silenced for 5 decades. Wow. She said she was molested by the trusted family doctor who delivered her birth. Years later, when she was in college in the 1960s, Chung went to his home office to ask for birth control. During a gynecological examination, the monster allegedly began abusing her sexually. Wow. While I stared at the ceiling, his right index finger massaged my clitoris, she says. Chung wrote, with his right middle finger inserted in my vagina, he moved both fingers rhythmically. He coached me verbally in a soft voice. Just breathe. Uh-huh. Mimicking the sound of soft breathing. Uh-huh. Suddenly, to my shock, I had an orgasm for the first time in my life. My body jerked several times. Then he leaned over, kissed me, a peck on my lip, and slipped behind the curtain to his office area. Chung, who's 72, said she was fuzzy on some details, such as the date of the alleged assault, but the experience is still vivid, forever seared in my memory. She said she's 100% sure who did it, and the unnamed doctor died over 20 years ago. She never told her parents, never reported the incident to authorities. She may have told one of her sisters, but felt embarrassed and wanted to protect my family. Well, thank you, Connie Chung, and thank you so much. You and Maury are great people for standing up to this Me Too nightmare and explaining your situation up close and personal. Thank you. Congratulations. Wow. I feel liberated, don't you? She got it out. She's talking about what's really happening in her life. Women have got to get their day in court, man. I'm telling you. This Me Too thing is just at the beginning. It's infancy. It's going to open up a whole pedogate thing, too. We're going to be revealing all kinds of people. I don't think so. I think she's had enough attention. She's worth $14 million, little Wheezy. She and her husband, Maury, have enough money to live the rest of their life comfortably in a nice condo somewhere. I don't know why she'd need the attention. I'm great to cover the story, aren't I, Sammy? Thank you. And thanks for sharing. I didn't even realize this story was out there. You guys gave me the opportunity that I needed to say what Connie Chung had on her mind. Wow. A Mason will help carry out the mark of the beast, according to this article. Masons are going to be doing the chipping. So they're soliciting Masons to chip the entire society and forces. I know. Well, I'm glad you did, Sammy. You were a little outrageous there earlier, asking me about sex. But when you mentioned it, I thought you were speaking about your sex acts with your own clitoris, Sammy. I had no idea this is something that's so horrible happened to Connie Chung. I mean, that's serious. That's damaging material. Okay, I'm going to flip that one too. Good. I love flipping these things so I can put them in the lineup tonight, and they're always in my 153 news section. If you want to check out our massive library that's current, we have a new Flipboard library, which is on top of our old library, brings us up to 4,000 links. And the links that we've gotten are, every one of them is a journey into the unknown. We have 3,700 links roughly at Delicious, and they brought Delicious back, thankfully, and they have our link library there. And our first link library is the Flipboard, though. That's the most recent. I think this is pretty cool that we can give all you guys the best links in our show, and I've been really glad to have done that. I even have links from way back in a blog form that I'd never even recorded from when we first started. So I've got probably another 2,000 links in storage. Some of them are probably dead, but they're still link crazy. So yeah, here's my link library, everybody, if you want to grab it. Both of them are available. 4,000 links, all pertinent to our current times. Okay, gave me the focus you needed. Good, I'm glad you're back to your normal self as a monkey. You're telling me you're going to hang on trees? I don't know what's going on with you. Are you sure you're not a lemur? Lemurs do that too. You may have mischaracterized yourself as a monkey. We humans, we know the difference. Well, that's a shocker, I'll tell you. Okay, so Amazon, you think Jeff Bezos could get it right, everything he does seems to be completely off. It's pretty sad that Jeff Bezos thinks we're all funny for buying his stuff. Shut up. Shut up. Hey, Amazon cuts to bonuses leads questions about wage hikes. Yeah, he brought the wages up to $15 an hour, which everyone thought, wow, he's really had a change of spirit. Not so fast. A spokesman for Amazon said the ending of stock vesting plans and bonuses makes compensation more immediate and predictable. So he somehow is ending bonuses for everybody, so you won't get compensation for a bonus compensation or any stock vesting like share plans. You don't get any stocks in Amazon when you work there now. But he is going to raise the minimum wage to 15. So again, he wins. Sick, greedy people running our world. It's just disgusting. He has cyborg eyes. I know. You think he's a bio android or some sort? Give you a raise and then jack up your healthcare costs and then cut your shared Amazon stock option plan where you earn 1/10 of an option. That's over. And bonuses, forget Christmas bonuses, guys, in the procurement center. How would you elect court justices? I would put people out that weren't raging, sloppy, drunk alcoholics. I would probably drug test all my applicants so I would know in advance that they were sloppy, drunk alcoholics. And I would probably do a little basic investigation work with a private eye to see if they weren't forced raping women when they were younger in the fraternities, that they spent time worshiping Baphomet and Lucifer, engaged in the Devil's Triangle game for sport, where two men gang up on a woman and rape her. Yeah, I would drug test all applicants. Yep. You like that? It'd be okay if they smoke pot. It'd be okay. We're not going to include pot in the drug test. Pot isn't even a drug, it's an herb. I mean, really? I'm prepared for more radiation now. I'm able to absorb more radiation. Let me ask you, honestly, do you prefer these glasses? Because nobody likes these glasses. To these glasses. So number one is this. Number two is this. Number one or number two? What do you think? It's a bad choice either way. You're trying to make the best of the worst choices. You're having a hard time with that. These are even CSI Miami glasses. Okay, you like number one better? Okay. What about these? I got these for 38 cents. I have about 50 of them. I used to hand them out as gift packages for people. See, I have a bunch of these things. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Mike. Your name is Mike, right? Greetings. How are you? I am your commander. I am prepared for... Take me to Warp 5, Spock. Take me to Warp 5. Greetings, Robot Dave. Hello. Welcome to the show. Mr. Anderson. I'm not a materialist. I'm what is called an aestheticist. Aestheticist. There is no word for this, so I'm making it up, but I am an aestheticist. I believe in the aesthetics of life. I don't like money. I like aesthetics. I realize today that I am doing what I need to do to maintain perfection in my life. By minimizing my needs, I achieve maximum results. And as an aestheticist, I look at little things as...
Well, Devon Island is a territory of Canada and said to be the largest uninhabited island in the world, although the enormous presence of NASA may change that statistic. It'll take about 4 minutes to look at 3 Devon Island locations labeled by Google Earth as number 1, roving the Arctic, number 2, Arctic camp.
So they're looking at a possible Mars hoax. Although we see a lot of Mars footage now, and many of it is just duplicated, scientifically duplicated. We are being DDoSed right now, heavily DDoSed. We were just shut down. DDoS underway. Oh, Big Donald had a farm. Oh, the DDoS day. A DDoS here and a DDoS there. Everywhere a DDoS. DDoS. You've been disconnected from chat. Please wait while we reconnect. We were shut down from computer connections online. Okay. We're going to go off of our networks. Wow, we were just shut down big time. Okay, if you're watching the recorded broadcast right now, you're seeing complete censorship when I brought up the Mars mission being faked. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go back on Vaughn. It should work now. iBlog. Okay, this has happened before. It's not unusual. It's not unusual to be DDoSed in your show. Da 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 da. It's not unusual to be DDoSed in your show. Da 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 da. All right, we should be up and running in just a second, folks. There we go. Refresh. It's a phase wave attack. It's a wave attack. A pulse attack, that's what it is. It's pulse attack. We're watching various networks here. We've got a link from Mr. Blobby. Okay, we got Mr. Blobby coming up tonight. Okay, folks, we're having some problems getting into our show on your end. We'll see what's going on your end in just a second. Ford would have ruled out much scrutinized Kavanaugh calendar date, her team says. Oh, okay. Most notable part of the FBI probe is not even the day that she felt she was attacked. Interesting. Okay, thanks. I am okay now. I am now okay. Okay, we are back. That was a pulse attack. We just experienced, this has been done before on a trunk line that we were broadcasting on. As soon as I brought up the possibility that the Martian space program is completely faked, and I have a video that was sent to me by Scissorfight, I was immediately shut down. You saw that, Scissorfight? Yeah, I got it already. Tired of NASA's lies? Oh, there's another one. Oh, good. Okay, great. Yeah, so we're going to be profiling this story.
All right, good morning. So I got
a lot of videos tonight on 153news.net. Thank you. Got a lot of stuff to look at, which really is great to see 153news.net alternative video hosting to the YouTube site. YouTube is trying to monopolize everything, and 153news.net is offering a free place to host your stuff and get it out there. Okay. Oh, yeah. Right on. Well, I'm wondering what happened to Vaughn.
All right, good morning.
It's completely shut down, but it's still broadcasting. I got no drop frames, but nobody's talking. Hello? Earth to Vaughn. Let me refresh the page. I might have been knocked out. Yeah, you guys are up and running. Okay, hi. I was in my own little sector. Coalition invasion. Amassing off Grenada. Armed standby. What? Okay.
I don't normally drop videos this quick, but someone has brought something to my attention that I felt needed to be pointed out as soon as it could possibly be done. Now, what you're looking at is a Strava heat map. I used this a couple of videos ago to show you that in a very small area north of Caracas, there is an incredible amount of activity going on. Strava is a company that tracks Fitbit type devices and tracks the activity of people. It seems now that the invasion devices, of course, are used for folks who work out, who want to...
Okay, there does seem to be ongoing efforts to build up troops in this region. There's another story here. Puerto Rico governor calls for elimination of Venezuela's government. Wow. There's an attack on Venezuela. Instead of feeling bad for these people, is the stream up? Instead of feeling bad for these people in Venezuela, our government's taking an antagonistic stance, like we need to get rid of all of Venezuela's government. It's wild. Just didn't expect this one. You saw that? Wow. Jeez. As if we don't need a war. We already have two. They want to start a war against Venezuela. You see how mindless the elitists in the world are and how completely out of whack they are? Well, yeah, again, Melko, you can't stay in the room. You don't even understand the meaning of middle of the ground. You know, you have no idea what balance is, equilibrium. I guess Vaughn is having problems. We're, okay, good. Well, if Latin America wants to side with Russia, that's fine. I really don't care. I'm just thinking humanitarian aid needs to be delivered to the people of Venezuela. Yes, well, I know that the Rothschilds are over there right now trying to buy up land cheap now that they've killed the economy there. And our country added Venezuela to the travel ban which made no sense other than to avert a Supreme Court decision that would have said that they were being defaming or discriminating Muslims. And there are no Muslims in Venezuela or North Korea, so they added Venezuela and North Korea to the travel ban. I think now that the travel ban cleared the Supreme Court, I think we need to instigate another travel ban against Russians. Just if Donald Trump truly wants to keep Russia out of our country, we need to issue a travel ban against Russians right away. There's no other way around it. We know for a fact that their government's lying about what they did with cyber terrorism. And it should be an indictable offense what Trump said, that he wanted to use Russia as our cyber security experts when he first became president. That's an indictable offense right there. That's obstruction. That's another case of obstruction. I'm wondering where Mueller is on the obstruction charges, because we still haven't seen him say anything, and he said he'd do something by September, which makes you wonder if they haven't gotten to Mueller too. Well, let's be clear. I think we're creating more enemies with Donald than we ever could have. That's the problem. I'm trying to send us to a new Cold War? No, not at all. I don't see Russia as the problem. I see the people who finance and control Russia as the problem. I'm more than willing to make amends with the new leadership in Russia once Putin is no longer a leader. Well, even if Putin is still a leader, we'll still talk to him. We're not going to shut off communication. But I seriously think he's been co-opted. I think he's the biggest capitalist in a country that claims to be communist. Well, it's interesting to note, Reptoid, they're broke because they put all their money in their oil reserve. And now that Trump is violating relations with China, oil prices are surging, which is exactly what Russia wants. So Trump is working for Russia again by alienating Asia. I believe that first trimester abortions, where a baby's no bigger than this big, are the only safe abortions that should be ever committed. It is unsafe at third trimester. It's dangerous to the mother and to the baby. I don't think we'll need a superhighway across to Russia. Russia's moving into our country right now as we speak, so you won't have to worry about a highway to Russia. They'll own our country very shortly, or at least the people that own Russia will own our country. Isn't that exciting? And you just sat back and did nothing all these years, just smiled and looked at the monitor. But at least you had fun before you were zip-tied and sent to the FEMA camps. Remember this time as the good old days, before the totalitarian takeover of the New World Order. You were warned. Don't think for a second you weren't warned. The Zionists control Russia and the U.S. I've been saying that since the beginning of the show. Sorry you didn't get the memo. No, the Russia and U.S. have nothing to join hands with, and they're not going to be able to defeat anybody because there's no benefit in any war between any of the superpowers. War is obsolete, and nuclear power and nuclear weapons have made war obsolete. We just haven't figured that out, and the elitists that live in castles in the Netherlands, they haven't figured that out either. No, the New World Order is the bad guys. They're the ones that want to have global control of the world and somehow manage it. And you know how corruptible people are. That's like a recipe for disaster. The only benefit that the nation state really has over a New World Order, the nation state model works so well because it disperses responsibility. It divests economic stability, and it diversifies regional stability as well. So all of these factors play into why the nation-state model is far better for managing human beings on this planet. That's why it's survived 2,000 years in hostile takeovers by corrupt people like Napoleon, Hitler, Attila the Hun. I mean, should I go on? Let's not forget Caesar. I mean, we could go way back if you want. But there's individuals that want to control the world yet again. No, it's not over for the U.S. as long as we don't support globalism. Not at all. We've embraced it up to the point where we've actually benefited a huge amount. Our companies that have profited have built homes, millionaires' castles, You wouldn't believe all the money we've made on globalism. But we're going to end up having to withdraw somewhat and take a more stationary stance, supporting our own economy with our own regional production. Sustainable economies survive longer than anything shipping things hundreds of thousands or thousands of miles over the ocean. And people don't like food that's delivered from Ecuador that tastes like frozen fruit or rubber. They don't like products that are sprayed with Certifresh and poisoned with benzene, like some of the bananas that are not organic. They literally drop them in a benzene solution, which is highly carcinogenic. We're all going to suffer as a result of globalism. It cheapens product lines. It keeps people from getting the best product that they can get at the local market. That's the problem. It doesn't provide cheaper and better when you have to ship things hundreds of or thousands of miles. Well, they do live in the castles in the Netherlands underground. Yeah, fact. I'm telling you, man, you have no idea. You probably have heard of the Gotthard Tunnel. Well, they were so confident that everything was going well for them that they built this Gotthard Tunnel, which was a place where people were, it was a critical point at which, had Hitler moved forward into Europe, he could have devastated many other countries. And he was stopped at the Gotthard Tunnel area. Well, they built the Gotthard Tunnel. And hardly anybody heard about this, because this is where a lot of these people were planning on long-term survival. And what happened was it collapsed. And this news was hardly even mentioned in the mainstream media. 128 people were dead inside the tunnel. Yep. So a very big story that decimated countless individuals. But you didn't hear about it. You heard about the Gotthard Tunnel ceremony that they had prior, which was a bizarre Illuminati experience. These people who are ultimately the richest people in the world have the means by which they can dig underground facilities right under their castles. Why couldn't they? So they planned on having quite a big festivity there. The type of crisis, or the type of actors that they hired to do these dancing that you'll see in just a second, I don't even understand it, but it was an evil satanic opening ritual that they had. And it's strange that we didn't even hear about the crash of the tunnel, but this happened June 7th, 2016.
It's either these people are in a trance or they are acting as though they are in a trance. But this is just incredibly in-your-face satanic rituals meant to entice the fallen ones.
Well, excuse the voiceover. It's Richie from Boston, who ended up being a sellout on YouTube. But this is some weird stuff. I mean, they've got all kinds of like images of Baphomet in the ceremony. Very strange, odd things, and then all of a sudden they had this massive explosion and crash, and then the Gotthard Tunnel is no more. 128 people died and didn't even barely make the news. So you know that's why they're covering. That's why it's been suppressed. Hey, I'll play that tonight. 7 minutes on the Gotthard Tunnel and the history of that region. So it was a very big thing that was developed in Switzerland that was very important to their big plan. But that's not going to stop them. They've got other tunnels. Dave, I have to go to sleep with my boss's wife. Huh. Why is it you have to go to sleep with your boss's wife? Is your boss some sort of a kook or something? Well, the Ryzen story kind of came and went. The Pentagon was hit, and then the story was completely, put away. Yeah, apparently nobody was targeted. It wasn't Ryzen after all. It was a lovely distraction, though, wasn't it? Yeah. It was total BS. I agree. Well, I don't know about the falling of the tunnel, though. That's a Daily Mail site. That could be CIA or British Royal Intelligence manipulated. But that story never really hit the mainstream media. They lost people down there. The huge rescue crews were sent in. And they had that big, huge Goddard Tunnel event that was so weird. It was almost satanic. Yeah. Well, technically it was satanic, okay? Okay, I think we're done with that. A little note about Donald Trump. He is a Zionist. I am not. Oh, I see. Sleeping with your boss's wife is BS. Yeah, nobody's going to do that. Plus, that's adultery. Speaking of adultery, let's take a look at Donald Trump in the early days. When he was conniving and squirreling away money from his dad, gifts left and right, devaluations of buildings so they weren't taxed, you wouldn't believe all the things that have happened. We've got a live leak story tonight, which is a direct link to Shepard Smith and his work at Fox, discussing the entire story up close and personal. We're going to lead with that story tonight at 10. But we're going to be talking about this investigative journalist that found the $413 million gap in Donald Trump's asset configuration. That he claimed he only got $1 million from his father, when in fact he squirreled away $413 million allegedly. And why he became Israel's bitch. So we're going to talk about that. Donald Trump needed money. Let me give you a brief history here. He got $10 million from his dad, which he went through in 1 year, much to the amazement of his family, who were shocked. He was already losing money, and his father had seen that, and this journalist exposed that his father actually was very upset that Donald Trump was putting all their assets at risk. He was. Fred was not happy with his father. Fred was not happy with him. But then the story goes on to say, his brother and sister gave him some money to bail him out at that time. We don't know exactly how much. But then he looked for other money, and he found it at the Chabad Leibovitch organization right outside of New York in Long Island. Is Chabad Leibovitch, which is a central hub between the Russian Zionist oligarchs and the New York Jews, the Ashkenazis. So we are seriously looking at a guy who turned to those Russian oligarchs much like a guy would turn to a loan shark for cash. And he said, well, we'll work something out. I'm going to make sure you're very happy. And he's been doing this wheeling and dealing all his life. And and we're there now at that point where he's been milking off of all the money he could get from Russian oligarchs. And now our country's pretty much in jeopardy because Russia, they have a big stake in Donald Trump Enterprises. Okay? Let's just put it this way, he's got to answer to a few people, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Anyway, this guy has a speckled history, and then he pushed his position to create an embassy in Jerusalem, which pissed off the entire Muslim world. You notice how any information about the Israeli Defense Forces killing Muslims and innocent Palestinian boys has been suppressed. They killed 71 Palestinian boys and nobody talks about it. Not interesting? Wow. This guy's, he keeps coming in under different names, but just ban him. Okay. He slips his words in and he starts talking as a new person, and he's just a complete psycho. Same with you over at Guest 264. You're not going to do diddly squat to me. It's amazing how many people are so tough when they're sitting behind a monitor thinking they're hidden from the NSA, who can watch their IP and actually look it up. So they found 7 Russian cyber hackers, and they're putting charges out against these cyber hackers for what they were doing. Apparently Russia was really upset about being kicked out of the Olympics for doping their players. So they've been sending out their cyber hackers to all the doping agencies around the world rather, in Switzerland, Netherlands, and they've been setting up like little operations where they pretend to be a Wi-Fi hub and then they start sucking in all kinds of Wi-Fi and password signals right near the embassies, anywhere they can get information. They use it against them. And these 4 guys were caught red-handed by Dutch police. And Dutch police couldn't hold them because they had diplomatic passports. They're part of the GRU, which is the Russian agencies that does all these secret operations. And they've been hiding under diplomatic immunity. So there's now a wanted poster for these guys, even though they were just released by the Dutch authorities. But yes, Russia has been hacking all over the world. And Donald, if you're listening, you should stay away from Russia. I'm shooting right now. I want everybody to vote Democrat in the House, and you can keep your Republican vote in the Senate. I want to see an impeachment hearing by 2019 for Donald Trump. Its time has come. We're not going to get it from the obstructionists, the Republicans that are working for Russia right now. Turns out Mitch McConnell is on Russia's payroll. It turns out Brett Kavanaugh is also key to this thing, that they need to use people like Brett Kavanaugh to funnel money to senators to buy them. Wondering why Trump is so set on Kavanaugh? Well, in 2011, he ruled that foreign governments could fund American super PACs. And that's where Russian money has been going into people like Mitch McConnell's hands. It's a very big conspiracy right out in front of you. You can see it. So voting Democrat in the House is essential at this point.
For the first time in your life, you're voting a straight ticket. Which party are you doing straight down? I said I would vote for any third party candidates mostly, and then probably do that first, and then if there's no third party, then probably Democrat, like David said. Hello, Scissor Fight, thanks for that. Oh, interesting. Thanks for the YouTube link. I don't know. David has been talking about his
Hi,
book
everybody.
for,
It's October 4, 20.
He's been talking about his book for a long time. I don't know when he's planning on releasing that, Jam. You feel like you're Republican in the past, but you're pulling a full Democratic ticket. Wow. Isn't it? It speaks volumes about the state of our nation when a Republican, someone who identifies themselves as a Republican, is deciding to vote full Democrat. I hope I'm not coming down with the flu, fly by night. I really hope not. I don't want to get sick. I think I'm okay. Yeah, I think you're right, Reptoid. A lot of people will be voting all Democrat from now on. Yeah, that's probably true. That's a great idea. I will get some rest and drink more fluids. I do need to drink more fluids. You got your flu shot? I did not. Retired Justice John Paul Stevens calls Kavanaugh's temperament disqualifying. He says senators should pay attention to this. He thinks Kavanaugh should be disqualified. Hello, Truth Seeker 4. You're so fed up, you just don't care. You're not voting at all? I don't think I can ever do that. Former Supreme Court Associate Justice John Paul Stevens on Thursday said Brett Kavanaugh's behavior during last Thursday's contentious Judiciary Committee hearing should sink his nomination. Stevens was an Associate Justice on the Supreme Court from 1975 to 2010. He gradually shifted to becoming a reliable liberal justice, suggested Thursday that Kavanaugh went too far in defending himself. At one point, he responded to a question about his past drinking habits by repeatedly asking if she'd ever had alcohol-related blackouts, even though later in the hearing he apologized for the remark. Wow. Well, of course, Justice Stevens wants to repeal the Second Amendment in order to in order to encourage thousands of law professors signed a letter saying that Kavanaugh's temperament should keep him off the court. Even retired Associate Justice Anthony Kennedy says in the first part of the century we're seeing the death and decline of democracy. He said that perhaps we didn't do a good job teaching the importance of preserving democracy by an enlightened civil discourse. All right. I agree, Dark Engine, that a third party is the only thing that can balance the scales. You think if the Democrats win, you'll end up with open borders and more taxes? That's your concern? I definitely understand that concern. Eight, 4, 2. You blame everything on the birth control pill? What? I don't why would you blame it on that? What's wrong with the birth control pill? Besides the hormone changes that happen? (842) thinks society started collapsing soon after it was introduced. Pedro's half-brother said he never cared for Obama, but he actually saved more with Obama in office, and that Trump is costing him money. Is it the tariffs mainly that are costing you money? Taxes, gas, medical care, all of those have gone up. Dark Engine says gas taxes have gone up, but he blames it on OPEC. Yeah, Master Meatball has a point. Look at the logic of government. So many officials seem like they lie to get officials, lie in office, then we pay them a salary for life. And then once they're in office, they just do what their party asks them to do. If any good people get voted in, they leave in disgust. True. You might be right. Wow. A convicted murderer was displaced by Hurricane Florence. Displaced from, like, what, his jail cell? Anyway, he's charged with raping a woman who sheltered him during Hurricane Florence. Of course, the two news outlets are New York Daily News and Fox 59 Indianapolis. I like the rank voting. Is that the rank voting system? Yeah, I like that. Rather than first to the post. Yes, we do need to make it so anyone can run with a certain number of signatures. Even if it's not, say, 1,000 signatures, maybe it's a certain percentage, like 1% of the population. All right, so let's see. They have Washington. India can't be scared away from Russia. I guess India's doing something with Russia today, or in trade. Oh, rescuers have detected a possible sign of life under a hotel that was hit by that suffered from the earthquake in Palu, Indonesia. The tsunami in Indonesia struck without warning. I disagree with that, 842. Hi, Bengalitis. Oops, I said hi, Bengalitis, and then I lost my connection to chat. Wow. In Sweden, a girl that was 8 years old pulled out a sword from a lake in Sweden, and the lake was the sword she pulled out was 1,500 years old. That's amazing. Okay, it looks like I just dropped all of my broadcasting, so I'm going to restart those. I think it's this one. I don't know. Okay. Yes, I think I'm back. Lost connection to chat. Okay, I'm already in this room. I'm already in line. Chat's open to everyone. Good. So that's pretty amazing. A 1,500-year-old sword was found at the bottom, found in a Swedish lake by an 8-year-old girl. Wow, there's a $900 smartphone that has 5 camera lenses. I have to look at that one in a minute.
Hey, you want me to reheat your hot cocoa?
Yes, actually, I would love that.
Okay. Coming up.
That's so good. I mean, I made it this morning, but it should be fine to be reheated. Wow. In its final days, Cassini bathed in ring rain. Saturn's rings blast the planet with organic rain. Deep in human DNA, a gift from the Neanderthals. The viruses that Neanderthals spread to the humans. I think I'm going to have to refresh this page. Maybe it is Excalibur that she found in the bottom of the Swedish lake. U.S. Air Force says California residents might hear sonic booms this weekend. Oh, there's a technology breakthrough that offers an early warning system for heart attacks. Oh, there's a scathing report that accuses the Pentagon of developing an agricultural bioweapon.
Uh-oh.
I'll leave that open for David.
Thank you.
With that,
I will take over. It's in the microwave in your
cup.
In a cup.
Oops.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Sarah, for helping out and giving us some time. The most expensive milkshake. Wow. Yeah. I can't wait to have a milkshake that's going to cost me more than $3 at Jack in the Box. Wow. I can't wait. Wow, 2-8. Okay, let's watch it.
Hi, I'm Joe Calderone, creative chef here at Serendipity 3, and today I'm going to show you how to make...
Okay, he's going to show us later then. Yeah, I just get black. It's just darkness, evil. No, you know, I do like Jack in the Box. It's great. It's got good qualities about it. Hey, this is a little bright for me until 9 o'clock, so I'm going to put this on. Okay. Maybe I'll go back to these. Scathing report accuses Pentagon of developing an agricultural bioweapon. Okay. Here it is. Erectile dysfunction. No, what? Man chugs erectile dysfunction drug ends up with permanent red tinted vision. Scathing report about... this is just not working out. Hang on. What happened to our iBlog show? Was Sarah not watching the iBlog show? I saw the cat yesterday. We actually brought the cat out in the show the other night. Amber's doing great. Yeah, that was weird. iBlog was not even there. Thanks. Jeff. Jeff. It's not that funny, Jeff. Boy, everything gets screwed up whenever I leave the show, it seems. It's not her fault. Just things happen. No one's fault. Not even Jeff Bezos. I mean, he's just taking advantage of a good thing. He's a capitalist. He likes money. You can't blame him for screwing everybody over and getting the best possible deal he could get, you know. Yeah, I mean, really, you know. I look like Speed Racer. Yeah, I could be either way. I put a nano glaze on these glasses. They're kind of cool. Man chugs or bioweapon? I'm going to go with man chugs. Yeah, erectile dysfunction drug. That's far more important, I think, than a bioweapon created by our country. Okay, one man's experience with a common erectile dysfunction drug turned out to be a lot more eye-opening than he expected. According to his doctors, he developed a seemingly permanent red tint to his color vision after taking a massive dose of sildenafil citrate, commonly known as Viagra. You know, there is a class action lawsuit, too, pending right now regarding Viagra and skin cancer in men. Yeah, skin cancer and Viagra. And if you want to check into that, there is a study being done. Why men who take Viagra increase their skin cancer risk by 21%. Dump Trump. Okay. There's a video. There's the case, the Viagra skin cancer class action lawsuit. Schmidt Law has it. You are the stalker. Yeah, suicidal stalker at me again. She's doing it again. She's stalking me. I'm crazy. I mean, get some professional help, lady. You need it. Man. Yeah, so there's a GOP senator whose vote could disappear. I'll get to that right after the bioweapon. Okay. Things are just happening so fast you can hardly keep track of anything nowadays. It's like It's like a whirlwind of news. You can barely keep up with it. Kavanaugh writes op-ed arguing he's an independent, impartial judge after emotional testimony. He's writing an op-ed now? Okay. Was he pleading with people? Amy Schumer detained at cancel Kavanaugh protest. A New York Attorney General says Trump caused his Trump Foundation charity to break the law as she seeks to ban president from nonprofits for a decade. Wow. Okay, here we go. Talk about news, man. And where's the bioweapon again? Let me get that up. One moment, please. Bioweapon. Scathing report accuses the. There we go. All right. So the Pentagon's developing an agricultural bioweapon, a new technology in which insects are used to genetically modify crops, could be converting into a dangerous and possibly illegal bioweapon, alleges a Science Policy Forum report released today. Naturally, the organization leading the research says it's doing nothing of the sort. The report is a response to an ongoing research program funded by the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Project, DARPA, dubbed Insect Allies. The idea is to create more resilient crops to help farmers deal with climate change, drought, frost, flood, salinity, disease. But instead of modifying seeds in a lab, farmers would send fleets of insects into their crops where the genetically modified bugs would do their work, infecting the plants with a special virus that passes along the new resilient genes. Wow, man tinkering with nature. It's crazy. You know, Rodale Institute did a study on drought resistance of organic, non-GMO products grown completely without pesticides and herbicides, and they found that they're just as drought resistant as the GMO. It's amazing. Rodale Institute. Fantastic. They created Organic Gardening Magazine. Okay, you're here now talking? I am. Spice Girls coming up. You're angry at me for not supporting Trump? More evidence he's an immoral Rothschild puppet. Ooh, I like this. This is exactly right up my alley. Never Lose Truth is at it again. She's going to be doing a video tonight. Let me give you a taste of that.
18. As much as I detest Amy Goodman of Democracy Now!, believing that she is the quintessential queen of disinformation agents,
I agree. Democracy Now! Wouldn't cover our story, and we're one of the most democratic agents forming in America. Politics, democracy, people starting their own party. You'd think we'd get an interview with Democracy Now! So that's in the lineup. Thank you. Good. Yeah, processing some links here. We got the Spice Girls later. I don't know why somebody sent me that. And then I want to do House of the Rising Sun. I love that song. When I was in radio, there was a guy who'd call up every single day and ask me to play House of the Rising Sun. It was amazing. The guy loved it, and I ended up meeting the guy. He was a pretty bureaucratic guy. He's had a really stable job at the city, never really did anything, but he just loved that song. That was it. We'll play that later. Yeah. It's one of the most powerful songs ever made. What it means, I've never really delved into, but... Okay, hi guys over at iBlog. I guess we got cut off for a while. Sorry. I don't know how that happened. Sarah must have missed your link. Okay, people are not taking advantage of it. Oh, they are. Yeah, some people are posting on our site. Dave, I want to make love with you. Dave, I would get my hands down your pants 5 minutes after I met you in real life. Wow. Well, finally, people are posting in my totally open forum at Tiki Live. Good. We're trying to make this available for you guys to open up different chat rooms, and because I know a lot of times you feel like I've been banning and purging you, but I haven't. I've only been banning and purging one person named Melko. He has 100 different identities. He comes in our show every night with 100 different identities. ridiculous. All right, it's time for that moment of choice. Are we going to technology? The answer is yes. Let's go there. We're here. Here's my new song.
Come on. Feels so good. Give it up. Push it. Feels so good. Feel the beat. Ready, set, go. Come on. Feels so good. Give it up. Push it. Feels so good.
Yeah, I don't think that was that great anyway. But it was fun to have something different, wasn't it? A physicist who coined the God particle and sold his Nobel Prize to pay medical bills dies at age 96. Congratulations, man. You made it 96 years old. Well, we will see you in heaven, sir. Thank you. And thank you for at least profiting from your Nobel Prize. You know, what did he sell it on Craigslist? Oh, he looks like me for some reason. Leon Lederman, Boise, Idaho, an experimental physicist who won a Nobel Prize in physics for his work on subatomic particles and coined the phrase God particle, died. He directed the Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory near Chicago from 1978 to 1989. He's described as a giant in his field who also had a passion for sharing science, resulting in his book, The God Particle. He died at a nursing home in Idaho town of Rexburg. Ellen Carr Lederman, his wife of 37 years, survived by. Bless you, and my condolences. At least he had a rich and fulfilling life, and he helped discover the God particle. With the Higgs boson, is one of the theories. Higgs boson is one of the theories of the God particle. It's a component of the God particle. Many people who've achieved the God particle in life know how to defy age. They don't seem to age like normal people. Yes, good evening, Techwalla. I have not seen the Trump viral video, Trump dog. No, that's news to me, man. You have a Trump Doppelganger? I saw the woman in... Ooh. Wow, that's interesting. A video of a man who looks just like President Trump goes viral. Let's take a look. Thank you. You know, I need guys like you who have this ability to bring me viral videos. Thank you. We've got Scissor Fight. He's been bringing viral videos for a long time. Thanks, Techwalla. There's a major response to humanitarian aid, according to Mad Dog's Backyard. Florida Marquise has an article on what they're doing to help Venezuela. Well, according to our reports, there's an armada out there near Grenada. A bunch of ships out there, so something's happening. Do you... Wow, okay, that's done. Let's take a look at this video of a man who's viral. What do you say, Jeff? You want to do it? Okay, I knew you'd love it. Okay, thanks, Jeff. You're special. You're so special. Here we go. And the one, and the two, and the three. Play a video. There he is. Wow. Amazement, the man being a spitting image of Donald Trump. Okay, well, that's not working. Let's go to the other one. Oh my goodness, folks. You're not going to believe this, but Donald Trump has an addiction for certain types of Diet Cokes, and they've been trying to restrict him, and I think he was caught getting a Diet Coke at a local liquor store. This is Donald Trump. Wow. It is Donald Trump. Isn't he the card? He must have snuck out the back. He has his own cell phone. He probably hired a taxi or something, or did an Uber. Yeah, he has an Uber plan or something. It really is him. No, it's not just kind of him. The thing is, when you develop a senile dementia and a chronic brain syndrome or any Alzheimer's symptoms, you need to do things like have a field day and, go out on the town. They do that at mental hospitals. They send people out there with, a day pass. This is Donald. He probably got a day pass from Secret Service for the trip. It was a small town in Texas, and today he happens to be in Minnesota. Interesting. He's got kind of a thing going where he doesn't like being in the limelight, I think, and he wants to kind of, live life to the fullest. So you heard the guy snorting? Let's hear, because he does seem to have the typical snort. Let me max my audio out so you can hear everything. We did identify the snort. It is the exact same snort Donald does whenever he's got a nasal problem of some sort. Oh yeah, strong connection between Texas and Minnesota, Tekwala. Let me tell you. Oh yeah, let me tell you. Yep, hear that sniffle right at the end? That's that sniffle. I heard him snorting too. You got good hearing. Oh, jeez.
The beat. Ready, set, go.
Come on.
Feels so good. Give it up. Push it. Feels so good. The beat. Ready, set, go.
So this is an interesting little picture here. We're looking at a guy who was an artist, and he took all these pictures on various drugs, or he drew all these pictures from one profile off of various drugs. Cocaine, he drew this off cocaine, or codeine, I'm sorry. THC, this is what he drew on THC. Alcohol. Isn't that amazing? This is a brilliant artist who took all these drugs, and don't do this at home, folks. Cocaine, flamingo on the head, poppers, whatever those are, DMT. But isn't that amazing? Yeah, he did an experiment where back to him. Oh, sorry. He did an experiment where he actually took lots of drugs and ended up becoming a completely different person. Gee, I wonder why Donald Trump was in Texas like this, standing in line. This is just a little bizarre, don't you think? But you got to wonder, I mean, if he's trapped in his body, imagine this. You're in a situation where everybody recognizes you, and you're trapped in your body, and you decide just to do something completely different. That would be Donald Trump. It's gone viral. Thank you, Tekwala. That's exactly his same body type and face. And you'll notice he's doing that little rolling thing with his jaw like this. Notice that? Common among people who have snorting problems. I don't know what it is, what it's caused by, but yeah, look at the rolling of his mouth. And to debunk it, Inside Edition commented on it, Fox News, RT, and so on. Really, just to debunk it, yeah. Well, I think you're onto something there. It's not makeup. I think it's Donald Trump. What happens when people do different kinds of things? They experiment, with a different variety I'm sorry, I'm talking about separate subject entirely. When they experiment with the different, visiting places, they start to have this unique experience. So the snorting and all that jaw rolling thing, that can affect where a person ends up. You might find yourself in a liquor store with a beautiful limousine and Secret Service around you. You may find yourself wearing a flannel shirt with blue jeans and a cap. I wonder what his cap says. It looks like a presidential cap, doesn't it? Where have all the bodyguards gone? It's a Navy cap, really. Well, could you get the details on the cap and find out more? Because it looks like a presidential cap of some sort. Well, let's be clear. Is Donald Trump losing it? Is he like wandering from the Secret Service now? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here. I'm planning on... where am I? Now I need to get some cigarettes and I don't smoke. It could be an NSA cap. Well, I think you're definitely, you sparked our imagination for sure. And now we need to look deeper and closer at this cap. It's the only way we're going to identify the real Donald. Let's take a look. Well, definitely looks like him. Definitely, Ivanka, would you like some twisties or milk duds? Ivanka. He kind of looks a little lost, doesn't he? Like maybe he's having one of those Alzheimer moments and he just drifted from the Secret Service for a little while. He does all kinds of things. He's turned into a variety of different people. Let me see. Let me get my modern prop in here. Maybe it's that David Spanheim pretending to be me. I don't know. He doesn't look a bit like me. Well, a little in the eyes, but... My God. You're taking so long. I want a pack of gum. Hurry up. Ivanka's waiting in the car. She's going to give me a foot massage. Hey, I just hope you're having fun, Donald. You need a break. Gosh, you've handled so much. Oh, wow. You've handled so much stress recently with the witch hunt and the fake news. Oh, now they're claiming that that Barron Trump has an IQ of 146. I've never seen proof of that. No, that's not an IQ test. That's just a lie. Confoundly, anybody can come up with a lie. Nick, you've been muted. The hairline meets the ear is messed up. You don't like that? You don't like when my hairline meets the ear? I'll have to cut that. Whew. All right, thanks for coming in. You heard him snorting over at iVlog. No on Trump. 34% match, yeah. Well, I'm just glad I'm better looking than he is. Because if I looked like him, I'd feel like crap, I'll tell you. Can you imagine having hair like he has? He's got he have to wear a cap. I'm sorry, we're having problems with somebody in the room. We had to ban you. Any other problems? Feel free to hang out in my tiki room. We've put together a plan to give you guys a place to just crap all over me. And I'm amazed more people aren't using it. It's the tiki room, the crap place where people crap. Yeah, it's kind of like the vomitorium. There it is, the tiki room. The vomitorium that Brett Kavanaugh had at his dorm room in Yale, that's what experts said testimony said that he lived in a vomitorium. Look at the sideburns the Trump pick. Line up the sideburns to the ear. It's weird. Okay. I'm looking very closely at the sideburns. Hold on. I don't think so. It's definitely him, though. There's no question about it. Yeah. I agree with Tekwala. That's definitely him. He's probably taking a trip. You know, he can get to Texas in about 20 minutes on a helicopter. I'll just take the helicopter down to Texas. I want to visit some friends at a liquor store. I've been wanting to meet somebody at the liquor store for a while. Maybe he's working on a connect. Maybe he ran out of his connections in Minnesota, so he has to get a connection down in D.C. Hey, Xenu. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should talk like this. Yeah, let me get a picture of Trump that matches the look. The look of Trump. Right. I'm looking for the angle of this shot. I've got a series of Trump pictures here. It might match up. This is a similar. Oh, that's a moving picture. It's a similar angle, though. Right. Just bear with me. Hang on. We're just pulling up photographs to compare his face with somebody else. Yeah, I think we're definitely having fun now. I mean, we were at a point where we weren't having fun, so now at least I'm having fun. Something respectful. Here's one. No, it's still moving. I'm looking for something that doesn't fly away. What a beautiful day for ramming a cucumber through a neighbor's letterbox and shouting the aliens have arrived. Oh, that's creative. Cucumbers are biodegradable. Well, aren't you special? Well, isn't that super special? You know, the matching of the face is the hardest part. We've got some pictures of his skin cancer here that look very similar. Let me see if I can. There's a skin cancer. I showed you this last night. Yeah, he has a little skin cancer on his side of his face, which, you know, is to be expected. What is he, 80, 72, 71? It's normal. Very normal. I'm normal, right, Ellie? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to do transparency over this. We're going to line up the photographs as close as we can. The nose is what I'm trying to cue in on. Yeah, pretty much identical nose. Yeah, I think we got a guy. We got a match here. Face could be moved over a little bit. The look of Donald is in his face. So yeah. Hey, wasn't this fun? It's a 100% match, everybody. This guy named Donald Trump. No, he's not as handsome as I am. Yeah. Well, you know what? He does pretty well for a man with a little bit of money. Yeah, you have to have a lot of money to look really good at my age. You can't just do it with, you know, next to nothing. Unless you learn my amazing trick. This vitamin juice sprayed on my face daily during the show is done amazing for my skin. By spraying this amazing fruit enzyme juice on my skin, I'm able to keep the physical vitality of a young person. It keeps all of my frubber looking very elastic like human flesh. I'm a very, very large person. I have very large hands. Very large. I have very large hands. New app called Snap Crap encourages people poop found on the streets. Okay, so Snap Crap takes pictures of people's poop that you walk by, the homeless people, that your local Democrats, Republicans who work in at your city's local city government can't seem to clean up. Snap Crap is a way to communicate with others who are suffering the same incredibly weird experience of walking by some human defecant with your family, your kids are saying, "Daddy, what's that?" "Oh, that's human defecant from the bag people that the local Democrats can't get off the street." Snap Crap isn't a weird bathroom parody of Snapchat. The new app is aimed at trying to clean up the dirty streets of San Francisco. Let's take a look.
Francisco is coming up with ways to deal with an unsanitary problem on city streets. Human and dog waste left behind on sidewalks. One man has come up with an app he believes streamlines the reporting process. It's called Snap Crap. NBC Bay Area's Christy Smith joins us live. Christy, the city already has a reporting app. This is another one?
Yeah, that's right. And certainly people can use 311 Run directly. But the creator of this app said he wanted something quicker with things like autofill options. And it has comments like, "Whoa, whoever cleans this up deserves a bonus." He says initially among friends there were some jokes about the whole subject, but he thinks it's serious and this can help.
The scent was just very, very bad, very extremely bad.
Kayvon Lucchini reported it immediately, calling 311. A man south of Market using the sidewalk as his own personal toilet.
I wasn't there the next day.
He was relieved the city responded to the service request fast and knows about the SF311 mobile app, but says it's an ongoing challenge.
I want a solution where I can literally just pull out my phone, take a picture, and press send.
Sean Miller came up with Snap Crap, a mobile app that he says offers fewer steps than SF311.
You have to add a comment, you have to select an object, all that sort of thing. My app is specifically for street and sidewalk cleaning for human and animal waste.
It has autofill and location. He says initially there were some jokes about the subject matter, but they also saw it as serious. He's seen waste problems in his own neighborhood.
Which is notoriously filthy, right? So seeing this every day, I just got really frustrated.
The idea, he says, is not to undermine SF311, but to simplify.
But we certainly started to take a look at it after it was brought to our attention.
Rachel Gordon is with Public Works. She says the 311 app was made with some very key features.
With the SF311 app, if you continue to walk after you're starting to punch in the details of that, you can, by hand, you can put in the correct location of where the problem is.
Now, the app was just released a few days ago. It does have a 311.
That guy's communicating to somebody behind him. Look at that.
The app was just released a few days ago. It does have a 311 dial feature. We couldn't get that to work on our phone. He tells us he is looking into that, though, and making some updates. Now, Public Works says that they get about 10,000 requests for cleaning per month.
I wonder if they got the permission of those people standing behind them to videotape them. I think you need signed permission to get their faces on the screen. Let's go to the digital background. Welcome to the digital background. You can use Snap Crap anywhere you want. Yes, we got more images coming in just a bit. Feels so great, free your mind. These are all songs that Scissor Fight developed. And you know, one of our biggest things that we offer is a place now to go check out when you want to, hang out and play music in the background. And the music doesn't start anymore like it used to. You can make music happen if you want, but we've got a great site I have developed called coolrock.com, and you can just watch our show there. And that's got the Tiki Live screen in it, and it has the chat from Vaughn as well, and iBlog. Yeah, so if you're ever in a pinch for trying to find our show at any given time, feel free to just go there and tune in, drop out, and get right. Tune in, drop out, tune out, something like that. Back in the 40s, 50s, people didn't bring their dogs to the big city. I know, people like to bring dogs because they keep them warm at night if you're living in the street. Believe me, a large dog could keep your dumpster cardboard box really, really warm. Yeah. There's something to be said about everything, I suppose. All right, so it's called Cool Rock.
In a world where bass rules the planet and its inhabitants worship sound, two superpowers collide. We bring you a nightly soundscape of incredible music. Join us at coolrock.com and watch Virtual Chat, great music, and interactive news mix.
Okay, so what I have at the bottom is a really cool site. I just wanted to show this to you because it's got political. Coolrock.com. It's got a political aspect too. There's a site here for all of you. All sides are covered. I found this site when I went to a convention with Sarah, and it covers everything. Allsides.com, unbiased, balanced news. You can get the left, the right, and the centrist position on every single news story, and it'll lead you to articles about each news story. Isn't that a great idea? So at the bottom of Cool Rock is that little thing. And if you want to know more about America, click on this amazing America's Stories site, which is completely replete with things about every state. And like with all the things with Cool Rock, you can X out of anything, you can move anything around, you do whatever you want, you resize anything you want. When you hit refresh, it pops right back to original form, just like it never happened. And I'm using the backbone of a very advanced technology developed by Steve Rapiti called Scraplet. And nobody's really capitalizing on this technology, and I'm really enjoying just sticking stuff on there and showing you guys how easy it is. Yeah. All right. Thank you for letting me talk about my aspect of technology for not so active technologists. People that don't want to, get too into it, but want to dabble in fun stuff. The thing about technology that I've noticed over the years, since we've been doing this, and I was doing this in 1985, I started, is a lot of times you get burned out on any one thing you're doing, and it kind of kills your interest in new technologies. You have to constantly kind of tease your brain to look into new things. Otherwise, the internet is kind of like stagnant waters. It's like stagnant waters, not like quicksand, like stagnant waters, where if you don't really know anything around you, it feels like everything's the same. And one of the reasons why I started Cool Rock is I kind of want to develop a site where people can go and hang out. And I'll be doing more and more toward building that site up over time. I need a hangout place myself, so that's why I created America's Third Party. And I really want to get this country back on track, which is wonderful. But the American people really just need a place to communicate and hang out right now. It's important. Yeah, we don't have enough of these places. Back in the days of the early internet, 25 years ago, AOL was a place everybody hung out. Nobody hangs out there anymore. You think you go to Facebook, everybody on your friend list is there, but you're not meeting new people. And as much as they want you to connect to new people, it's like kind of a bore to just, click on all these followers, and then you don't know who's watching. We don't watch anybody at Cool Rock. We just hang out in chat rooms. Well, that's not coming up. Something's wrong with that site. There it is. Work harder, work smarter, not harder. That's great. He took his own technology of a treadmill and adapted it to his wood delivery system to his house, where he can load up stuff in his firewood. That is hilarious. Very funny. Thank you. Bless you. Dark Engine. Okay, so now I'm going to go through my links tonight and kind of see where we're at. And see where we were at a couple days ago. We just talked about this guy impersonating Donald Trump. I'll give you a link to that. Boingboing.net has it. TechWallet told us about it. We just talked about a scathing report accusing the Pentagon of developing an agricultural bioweapon. They're creating insects, genetically modified insects. Very strange, very suspicious. No long-term studies. Potentially very dangerous. Almost like everything else the government seems to be doing. Manchuck's erectile dysfunction drug. We talked about that, leading to red-tinted vision. Overdoing Viagra. This is the story I'm going to be leading with at 10 o'clock, which is a story that Shepard Smith did with the journalist that did the deep research, the investigative journalist, into Donald Trump's past tax dealings with his father. Remember when Trump announced a $900 million loss one year in his taxes? I think it was 2007. He looked deep into this, and he uncovered just a treasure trove of incredible, weird money dealings and dodgings of tax debt that Donald did with his family in order to get money from gifts from their father. And he got the most of the gifts and hid them from the tax people. So that's very interesting. The mayor of New York is saying they're going to sue him for the back taxes. It's a civil case. They could do that. Okay, Rothschild puppet orders military invasion. That's coming up too in our lineup. People are saying that there's a big armada of vessels off the coast of amassing off Grenada.
Keep track of, their progress. And for something to light up in red, you have to have a lot of use of these types of devices. Now, it doesn't just show American military bases. That's what a lot of people have made the mistake of assuming. That is one thing it can show, because a lot of military soldiers, our military soldiers, use those. But
so this guy's tracking all kinds of indicators that there's a big amount of warships building up near Venezuela, ironically. Very strange, odd, and hard to understand, really. There he is again. And Amazon cut the bonuses to their employees as well as any type of stock investment plans when he gave $15 minimum wage up to everybody at Amazon. So it's not like he's losing anything. Yeah, I was going to play that a little later. It's Dianne Feinstein when she found out that report that she suppressed so long was finally being revealed. She doesn't look like a person who's exactly, confident in what she's doing. And the U.S. charges military agents. I'm going to play that whole loop tonight in our show. That's going to be good. Criminal investigation going on into Russian hackers. And this came in from John McAfee yesterday. I thought this was really interesting. John McAfee said the presidential alerts, they are capable of accessing the E911 chip in your phones, giving them full access to your location, microphone, camera, and every function of your phone. This is not a rant. This is from me, still one of the leading cybersecurity experts. Wake up, people. There you go. John McAfee making his voice heard again, which he has every right to. And then this story, which is really weird. Brett Kavanaugh has tried to explain this boof and Devil's Triangle explained, and it didn't sound like he was explaining much of anything. And the more you research this stuff, the more you realize this Devil's Triangle game is a satanic ritual that's been played by Masons and other weird groups of people dating back centuries, where two men gang up on one woman and molest her to the point of rape. Yeah, I don't know if that's confirmed, chat room. Do we know for a fact McAfee likes that? Okay. He said it was akin to quarters. The reason that Boof and Devil's Triangle were cited during the hearing is that their meetings may help paint a portrait of what Kavanaugh was like during his teenage years. The Judge, Have You Boofed Yet? Judge, Have You Boofed Yet? Appears on Kavanaugh's 1983 senior yearbook page. It seemingly corresponds to the phrase, Bart, have you boofed yet? Which appears on his longtime friend, former classmate Mark Judge's page. On Kavanaugh's page, the phrase is one of the many that appeared to refer to heavy drinking, 100 kegs or bust, and Beach Week Ralph Club. and sex, Devil's Triangle, and Renate Alumnius. And Renate, the woman who's named Renate, felt totally abused later in life. She felt like this was about her. She didn't even know they were making fun of her. So that's another thing that came out during this period. All right, that's that story, which is, I think I'm going to have to add that to Trump crap because Trump put Kavanaugh up. I'm going to flip it. So I use this thing called Flipboard, and I gave you guys a link to that earlier. But it's a site sharing opportunity to share links, and I'm just going to flip it into my category called Trump Sucks. No, I'm going to put it in GOP Russian conspiracy because that's actually appropriate. Kavanaugh has been working for Russian money providers through super PACs. So I think that's appropriate there. All right. Supposed to flip. This story came out yesterday that Trump is putting together an anti-marijuana task force. This was just a rumor at the time, but the White House confirms it's been running a marijuana committee to try to prevent marijuana legalization across the country. They're putting a strategy to make it seem like, it's really bad for you, even though it's really good for you. All right, so that's just, who cares? BuzzFeed News has that story. Wow, talk about inept. And this is huge. This is the story I talked about earlier. Trump is trying to profit from the White House, and he's failing. Getting rich off his presidency. It's pretty serious that these allegations are becoming more and more real. He's got conflict of interest, and he's still losing money in his business. So I'm definitely going to put that in Trump Russian. Flip it. Yeah, they're going to be going after oil now. Oil's going up. Asia is so pissed off that there's now oil price spikes going on. So it's ironically, Trump's anger at Asia is leading to Russian oil prices going up, which is exactly what they wanted. No, I didn't want to do that. I flipped it to 153. I got to flip it over. I'm going to flip it back to Trump sucks. Thank you. Yeah, this is a story about how his father, Fred, doled money out to his son and how Trump never even bothered to mention that. Okay, Lurking Llama says a Devil's Triangle is just a threesome with two dudes and one chick. Wrong. It's a satanic sex ritual. You just don't know it. Going to university.
Paul was allegedly poisoned. All right, which would explain.
Okay, I will look at that a little bit later. Thank you, Anita. Dubious tax schemes. 1968, $1 million a year. He only received $1 million loan from his father, but his father had already made him a millionaire when he was 8 through trusts and partnerships. When Trump turned 17, Fred gave him part ownership of a 52-unit apartment building. Soon after, Mr. Trump graduated from University of Pennsylvania, he's already receiving the equivalent of $1 million a year through arrangements from his father. Yeah, he just was doled out money and he lost it. Like it was no tomorrow. He was the king of debt, so he loved to dole out money. Dole out money. Oh, really? Okay, well, the Devil's Triangle is what you want to make it, I suppose. Are you worshiping Satan? Are you currently a satanic Luciferian? Press 1 if you are. Dole out the barrels. Put that in Trump sucks too. Thank you. Yeah, this is about the 100,000 documents they poured over to get this information. Yep. Trump sucks. He does. Trump has a golden toilet, and you know, the Smithsonian gave him another golden toilet. Trump wanted a $4 million painting at the White House when he became president. He wanted the Smithsonian to hand him I believe, a Van Gogh. And the curator at the Smithsonian said, no, we're just going to get you another gold toilet. So they got him another gold toilet. Isn't that funny? Here it is. This is sitting in the White House right now. If you're one of the special guests, you can sit on it. That's right. It's available for some of the guests at the White House. It's on loan, but that's all they would give them. You got to love the humor and all that, right? And we did verify that the story that I read earlier about Christine Blasey Ford getting $23 million from GoFundMe pages was incorrect. I verified this information and found out that she only got about $570,000. $528,000. That's how much she's received from her GoFundMe page as of that date. All right? That's not 23 million. So she wasn't just trying to make money off of this. So a lot of you who are thinking, oh, she was just in for the money. No, not really. And Trump is going to try to stop Stormy from saying anything else. Not only is he engaged in obstruction of justice, but now he's trying to threaten direct legal action to enforce Stormy Daniels' hush agreement. Yeah. Well, this Trump sucks category is really growing by leaps and bounds. Please, Ghost, it's not funny to talk about somebody's stomach. All right? Thanks. God, picking on poor Anita. That's pathetic. You gotta get a life. Oh, I'm sorry. You have one. Warships near collision at sea shows rising U.S.-China tensions. This was this early week news. China was expanding out in the ocean. It raised defense spending last year, $228 billion. That's a lot for China. Up from $21 billion in 1990. So it's opened its first overseas military base in Djibouti of Africa, and it has sharply upped spending on the diplomatic service. Chinese language and culture is being taught at over 500 Confucius Institutes worldwide. And it has sunk billions of dollars into the Belt and Road Initiative. Wow. China also wants to dominate in artificial intelligence by 2030. But a heavy debt burden, an aging population, and middle income trap all stand in its way. So what would Chinese superpower look like? We don't know anything but America. We don't know anything but America. Okay, thanks for that. Goodbye. Asian markets fall as U.S.-China tensions gets worse, oil prices surge. I covered that story. Thank you. Sorry I have to do this. It's kind of a pain, but this is the news. Hey, this woman decided she was raped. Yeah, the state senator raped her. And she's talking now, and she was felt very empowered by the Christine Blasey Ford comments that were made. And yes, her boyfriend disagrees with her testimony. So be it. Who cares? Christine Blasey Ford's boyfriend said, oh, she didn't tell me she was afraid of flying or had been raped or blah, 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 blah. Do-do-do-do-do. All right. Julie Swetnick didn't even get an interview, I don't think. The third woman to accuse Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct in high school faced allegations from her former employer that she engaged in unwelcome sexual offensive conduct in 2000. So Julie Swetnick has a history of legal battles over sex. So that testimony was kind of questionable. Okay, I guess we're done with that. I keep links around from just the abasement factor. I mean, look at this null, Earth null skull. I'm going to give you this link. It tells you all the weather patterns that are going on. This has got to be one of the coolest technologies out there. But you can spin the globe around and take a look at all the different weather patterns as they develop and roll your cursor in and out. It's like you own the Earth, you know? It's kind of cool. Isn't that the best little thing? I love that. I might put this one on Cool Rock. Yeah, well, China has got a major problem feeding 1.3 billion people. It's not as simple as one might think. China has a huge task to keep everybody fed. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's one of the reasons why they've got such an iron fist over their population, because they don't want to allow any wiggle room for anyone to have any chance of a rebellion, because then they would no longer be able to feed their people. They're already having problems re-educating people. They send people to re-education camp, kind of like you're going to pretty soon. Yeah, if you're in America, you'll be sent to the re-education camp in your area, just like the Chinese. Yeah, it's now 1.38 billion, rounded up in 2016. So let's just assume Chinese population is 1.4 billion. Yeah, it looks like a pretty even weather pattern going on right now in America. It's at 1.415 now, see? Yep, that's why I was laughing when David Attenborough was saying that we've reached the maximum population. I don't think so. Right, Jeff? Oh, gosh.
Welcome their first child into the world. The 39-year-old...
Okay. And that wonderful new innovation in San Francisco, Snapcrap. Who doesn't like a good program, an app that you can take pictures of defecation and send it to your local community leader? Oh yes. Thank you, Snapcrap. You're really brightening up our day. All right. No, David, he said it must stop. Oh, really? Oh, I thought he said it was stopping. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think so. No, that's ridiculous. This population doesn't have to stop. No. God. Have you any idea how much food waste there is in America? We could feed the entire world with our food waste. I don't understand. Why would we stop growing as a species? Are you anti-human? Some of you appear anti-human. Even I appear pro-human at times. I just can't believe that you would want to worry about a population increase when it's so easy to live on crackers and ramen. All right, whatever. Depends on which school of thought you've been brainwashed into. I'm here now. I can help. We've got dancing girls. We've got everything you need to enjoy this show. I believe that the population will get to 10 billion, and we'll be finding new ways of providing solutions. One of my opportunities in life was to call a man in Florida named Jacques Fresco and talk to him on the phone for 2.5 hours. And I got a chance to talk to Jacques Fresco, one of the most brilliant futurists of our time. And he talked about how we would ultimately be able to manage this Earth with a much more scientifically, cybernetically engineered system, which runs appropriately as to our needs, as opposed to human needs of making money, which seems to be underlying our systems right now. Once we meet everyone's need here on Earth, we won't have the problems that we're facing right now due to excessive greed. And that's really what he was getting at. He didn't know the political strategy to do this, but Jacques Fresco really did embellish this idea of a future which we're heading toward. It's just a question of how we're going to get there. So I really enjoyed hearing his Venus Project discussion. And here's a little encapsulation of his words about his Venus Project.
What the Venus Project proposes is an entirely different system that's updated to present-day knowledge.
We've never given scientists the problem of how do you design a society which would eliminate boring and monotonous jobs, that would eliminate accidents in transportation, that would enable people to have a high standard of living, that would eliminate poisons in our food, that would give us other sources of energy that are clean and efficient.
When we understand that it is technology devised by human ingenuity which frees humanity and increases our quality of life, we then realize that the most important focus we can have is on the intelligent management of the Earth's resources.
If you want a world without war, without hatred, with reduced crime, considerably reduced crime, then you must declare all of the Earth's resources as the common heritage of all the world's people. Anything less than that will be a repetition of the same cycle of violence.
But there's no end to the possibilities, which I think haven't even begun yet. The civilized world hasn't even begun to get off the ground. The jobs that will be accomplished in the future, the marvels, the technology to come is unbelievable. And it's about high time we get off our self-centered, self-seeking, self-advantageous designs and get on with the social job that has to be done, namely the reclamation of the environment and human beings as well. So we welcome everybody's participation.
Yeah, I had a chance to send him a birthday card before he died. So, yeah, he got a birthday card and then he died at 100 years old. Yeah, very brilliant man. He developed the flying wing for Northrop, and that lost his job. They fired him over it. His ideas are immortal. The flying wing is now the top secret operation that's going on at Area 52. Yeah, you didn't know that? I didn't tell you that. But it really is amazing how he was fired over the most brilliant idea anyone could come up with. They fired him at Northrop. So here he is, light years ahead of everybody, giving us this wonderful 100 years of his life, developing an institute down the Venus Project down in Florida. It's an actual buildings. There's you can go down there and interview his ex-partner Roxanne Meadows, who lived with him till the end of his life. And I'm sure she would love to find out more, tell you about his ideas too. He had all these movie-like mock-ups of his new villages and everything. Well-designed communities of the future. Yeah, I got the defensive bioweapon link. This is new. 88,000 tons of radioactive waste and nowhere to put it. Yeah, I'm sure we're dealing with that daily. There I am in Nirvana. Okay.
If you were an evil mastermind and you said, where could I put nuclear waste that would really scare the bejesus out of people? It's hard to think of one that's worse than San Onofre nuclear generating station.
Yeah, really. Exactly. And I heard Fukushima is trying to put their name out there as a nuclear repository. Now that they can't even get rid of the nuclear mess that they have, they want to make it a bigger nuclear mess and profit from the location. Isn't that amazing? Man 87 searches for job to pay for wife's medical bills. He's a very good man, she says. Oh, how sad. How pathetic. An 87-year-old man has to get a job to pay his wife's medical bills because they are ripping him off. Look at this. Wow. He's a very good man. To help pay for his wife's mounting medical bills, Robert Bloxham is looking for to come out of retirement. But instead of helping others with their financial planning, as he had done for so many years, the 87-year-old is aiming to hit the road as a truck driver. I got a little bit of everything, but mostly I can walk very well, and I've had some breast cancer. I've just been diagnosed with asthma, so I'm having problems breathing. I was in the hospital twice last month, so it seems just about everything is falling off. The couple have sold many of their possessions, including a mobile trailer, to help pay for their medical bills since Jalene's health began to worsen. They also moved from their home in the Middleborough Heights, Ohio, and relocated an apartment. It's easier for the 87-year-old Jalene to move around. Oh man, this is sad. Why don't they just start a GoFundMe page? I'm sure he'd have that money in a flash. Well, GoFundMe, what the hell is that? Wow, you just keep coming back, don't you, little psycho freak, Melko? Melko is a stalker. He just keeps coming in all the time. Psycho freak. Russia claims U.S. running secret weapons biolab in Europe. Well, that's close. It's actually Georgia. In the nation of Georgia, they're running a bioweapons lab. Yeah, Senator Lugar put this together. Is this the same story? The Lugar bioweapons lab in Georgia, the nation? Corbyn calls for diplomatic confrontation with Russia. Yeah, be a good starting point. Yeah, this is the biological lab in Georgia that the government's been funding. It's ridiculous. They're doing human guinea pig testing out there.
What I said was there was evidence, but the evidence had to be clear, it had to be accurate, and it had to be effective. So I just said, follow what the police are doing, and the police have done a very thorough investigation. I've been to Salisbury myself in July, and I think the people of Salisbury are still suffering from it. But
we need a diplomatic confrontation with Russia. I think Senator Lugar should be responsible to answer to why he has a bioweapons testing lab in the nation of Georgia. What's your policy about getting cities booming? Oh, yeah. Well, guess what? I think we all know the best way to get a city moving is to develop a retail enterprise solution, and we've got that. Yeah, we've got the best thing coming. The retail meccas of the future will have a total dedication to legalization of marijuana. Total legalization. I'm pro-legalization, pro-hempoline, and every city in America is going to love this. People are going to really enjoy it. It's going to help the local economy, and a lot of people out of work right now will be able to work in recreational dispensaries. So I think the future of recreational growth opportunities for marijuana, derivatives, medicinals, even textiles, fertilizer, you name it. The number of things we can make from cannabis is amazing. Okay, big hack, how China used a tiny chip to infiltrate U.S. companies. Oh yeah, I didn't read this story, but I heard about it. Okay, I've got that radioactive waste one in our show tonight. We'll deal with that. Okay, we got that covered. Yeah, the big hack. China used a tiny chip to infiltrate U.S. companies. That guy looks familiar. Yeah. Take a look. So we offer hybrid capitalist solutions to America's problems. We even wrote a book called Hybrid Capitalism, available at our store, 99-cent download for Kindle. I am going to play House of the Rising Sun. I have it queued up right here. There is a house in New Orleans. That'll be coming up at the end of the show. Yes, thank you. Can hemp create paper straws? I bet they could. But you know, I'll bet the Democrats would outlaw hemp straws too. Here's Trump walking up to the Air Force One with toilet paper attached to his shoe. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. We don't always know what our president's going to be doing. When he has to, use the restroom and nobody bothers to say that he's got toilet paper on his foot, it's a little embarrassing. Here he is walking up carrying the toilet paper on his foot. Maybe he had a little dribble down his leg, and just, that wetness kind of attracted the toilet paper. Thank you so much for that important little tidbit about Donald Trump. Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, you lost a very small kidney stone yesterday? Good. I'm glad. Hopefully it'll lead to some others disappearing. You'll feel better. Unless it was a bit of a painkiller. I hope you get better, Anita. We're all praying for you. We don't know about the toilet paper. It could have been a secret message from one of Vladimir Putin's associates that he slipped underneath the toilet paper. When a man sits in the toilet and he sits next to another man, sometimes there's a man with a wide stance. Some men have very wide stances, and sometimes that toilet paper touches your shit, and you're looking down and you go, "Ooh, toilet paper." Maybe it's a secret message. Who knows? I never had a wide stance myself. Okay, here's the story that we're trying to do before I play my song, my outlet song, Mr. Right. The big hack, how China used a tiny chip to infiltrate U.S. companies. The attack by Chinese spies reached almost 30 U.S. companies, including Amazon, Apple, compromising American technology supply chain, according to extensive interviews with government and corporate sources. There's the chip. In 2015, Amazon.com Incorporated began quietly evaluating a startup called Elemental Technologies, a potential acquisition to help with major expansion of its streaming video service, known today as Amazon Prime Video. Based in Portland, Oregon, Elemental made software for compressing massive video files and formatting them for different devices. Its technology had helped stream the Olympic Games online, communicate with the International Space Station, and funnel drone footage to the Central Intelligence Agency. Elemental's national security contracts were the main reason for the proposed acquisition. But they fit nicely with Amazon's government businesses, such as the highly secure cloud that Amazon Web Services was building for the CIA. To help with due diligence, AWS, which was overseeing the prospective acquisition, hired a third-party company to scrutinize Elemental security, according to one person familiar with the process. The first pass uncovered troubling issues, prompting AWS to take a closer look at Elemental's main product, the expensive servers that customers installed in their networks to handle the video compression. These servers were assembled for Elemental by Supermicro Computer Inc., a San Jose-based company commonly known as Supermicro, but also one of the world's biggest suppliers of server motherboards, the fiberglass-mounted clusters of chips and capacitors that act as the neurons of data centers large and small. In late spring of 2015, Elemental's staff boxed up several servers and sent them to Ontario, Canada, for the third-party security company to test, the person says. Nested on the server's motherboards, the testers found a tiny microchip, not much bigger than a grain of rice, that wasn't part of the board's original design. Amazon reported the discovery to U.S. authorities, sending a shudder through the intelligence community. Elemental servers could be found in the Department of Defense data centers, the CIA's drone operations, and onboard networks of Navy warships. And Elemental was just one of the hundreds of Supermicro customers. During the ensuing top secret probe, which remains open more than 3 years later, investigators determined that the chips allowed the attackers to create a stealth doorway into any network that included the altered machines. Multiple people familiar with the matter say investigators found that the chips had been inserted at factories run by manufacturing subcontractors in China. This attack was something graver than the software-based incidents the world has grown accustomed to seeing. Hardware hacks are more difficult to pull off and potentially more devastating, promising the kind of long-term stealth access that spy agencies are willing to invest millions of dollars and many years to get. Wow. Amazing, huh? You see why we need a much more intelligent leader? Someone who can actually get a good cybersecurity team going in our country instead of some nitwit like Trump who actually said that he wanted the Russians to handle our cybersecurity when he first started. Can you imagine? Yeah. That's why I believe, am Mr. Right.
miss the right to good, to be true. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. Do I miss the right? I miss the right to good. Just spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. Do I miss the right? I miss the right to good, to be true.
Okay, so Chelsea Clinton is, thank you. She suddenly earned $6.6 million in internet's company stock. They didn't tell you the real number, but the real number is not 6.6 million. She earned 6.66 million. I guess it pays to follow and tweet with the Church of Satan, huh? Former presidential daughter Chelsea Clinton has reportedly realized a 6.66 million payday after joining the board of IAC Interactive Corp. Oh, it's just so great. Her mom hooked her up with that. Yeah, that's so wonderful. Yeah. I found out that she was worshiping Satan. It really bugged me. I couldn't believe it. Like, wow. Oh, you can't bring me anywhere. I'm so sorry. I can't travel with you. You're psychotic. Yeah, poor guy. Bass music. 42 minutes of car music. Wow, who doesn't want to listen to that, you know? And of course, everyone wants to know about Lizzie Borden. We've got 45 minutes of the woman that just couldn't stop knifing her family. Sure, who brought that to us? Okay, Dark Engine has Lizzie Borden, the history of. Who doesn't like that? It's pretty horrible. You're Mr. Right Nut? Okay, nothing wrong with that, salty nut. It's the biography of Lizzie Borden. We'll get to that later. I never thought I'd hear more about that. That's Halloween stuff, but we'll play it tonight anyway, because I always like to watch stuff till 2 in the morning. Okay, hundreds of arrested in the Supreme Court protest outside of the Brett Kavanaugh hearing. Thanks, Anita. That's news from you. Thank you. I got to go to England to get news. Thanks, Anita. You're funny. Here it is. Brett Kavanaugh, hundreds arrested in the Supreme Court protest.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
I believe he's going to rape me.
I'm telling the truth. I want to know what you want to do, Judge. I'm innocent.
Senators now the results of the FBI investigation.
Those who have tried hard to smear this good man.
It looks to be a product of an incomplete investigation.
I think this interaction is everything that we're about. It's what activist leadership looks like. These two women that stopped Jeff Flake in the elevator, I think speak for so many of us as survivors when they stand up and they say, look me in the eye when you're talking about me, when you're making decisions that have an implication on my life.
Right.
I'm here because I believe women, because I believe survivors, and we as a country are going through a period right now, and it would be nice if all of our senators took it as seriously as the people here today.
All right. The Me Too movement grows day by day. More and more people are protesting this. Millions were arrested, not hundreds. Okay, I don't know about millions, but I believe women, yeah, especially when they claim that you're a paid homo. Oh, you're taking the rights of all the rapists. Oh, that's right. Techwalla likes to rag on women on his site. Of course, I should have known. So you're taking the position of the rapist in this matter, or the alleged rapist. Okay. Hey, you have a right to take your position. Calling a man a homo because he supports women, that's ridiculous. Wait, want to land a six-figure gig? Denver Metro has more than 6,000 listed. 6,000 six-figure jobs in Denver Metro? You got to be kidding me. Where are they getting their money? I guess marijuana sales have really boosted their economy. Wow. Employers across Metro Denver have listed nearly 6,000 jobs this month and paid $100,000 or more a year. A career site for high-wage positions, according to Ladders. So it's at Ladders you can get this information. Dominating the post are jobs in technology, sales, engineering, accounting, and general operations, says Mark Candela, CEO and founder of Ladders. The more technological complex society gets, the more 100,000 jobs there are, said Candela, who estimates about 16% of job postings in Denver are in that range. Leading the postings are Broomfield-based Ball Corporation, which has 270 positions available. About 38 of those are on the corporate and beverage side, with the rest of Ball Aerospace and Technologies, said Ball Corp. All kinds of new technology jobs out there. So Ladder.com, I guess, is the name of the company. Very good to know for those of you who are claiming more and more income and needing more and more income. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you want to spend money, you got to make it. I'm dressing up. Well, I was thinking of going as a nightmare. Something in between Alex Jones and Donald Trump. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be for Halloween. I will use the cyborg mask though, because that was such a beautiful mask that Scissor Fight created. I want to make sure I have good use of it. Yeah, it's going to have the blinking lights and everything, so I may just have blonde hair coming out of one side, and I'm not sure. Hillary, go as Hillary, yeah. Oh, right, you're a Michael Scott from Dinner Muffin.
Bros Before Hoes.
I wish I could play that. Bros Before Hoes. Yeah, Michael, that whole Office show really resembles the pre-Me Too generation, when men just walked around recklessly talking about women as objects. Yeah, I remember those days, back in the old days, like 2018, when Brett Kavanaugh acted like it was no big deal to, you know, play a game where you rape a woman. Yeah, the Devil's Triangle game. Okay, the Sunspot Solar Observatory raid by FBI. Crazy facts right here. Okay, Mad Dog's Backyard has a good one. An unprecedented FBI raid occurred on September 11th, actually. Actually, it was September 7th they did it at the Sunspot. And some people were seeing weird things happening with the sun around September 11th. But this should be a good show, too.
August 23rd, the National Solar Observatory announces a new era in solar physics is upon us with the hashtag DKIST. September 4th, the FBI raid and shut down the SSO in New Mexico, the operator of DKIST. Then the chaos begins. Nearby residents and facilities, including the local post office, were evacuated. The FBI called on local police to help with the evacuation. Benny, the county sheriff, said there was a Black Hawk helicopter, a bunch of people around antennas, and work crews on towers. But nobody would tell us anything. We went up there and everything was good. There was no threat. Nobody would identify any specific threat. We hung out for a little while, then we left. No reason for us to be there.
Later they talked about having sought a pedophile in the area. It's just weird story and cover-up story too. And everybody was taken out of the facility. They didn't even guard the facility. They said there was a pedophile in the area. But we'll look at that tonight as well. That's great. Yeah, it's always good to get all this extra information from all the videos you guys link me. Thank you. Wow. Can't believe people, that guy just, he's so psychotic. He keeps coming in and pasting the same stuff in the show. It's so stupid. I've never seen a bigger nutcase than that guy. Oh, Anita sent us this. I'm not sure. It's 4 hours and 56 minutes, Anita.
Our so-called intelligence agencies and by our police and by other institutions, and we have to stop them. But if you want to stop them, we need to understand what we're trying to stop. And
very good point. Well, that'll be on my list of things to look at. 4 hours is a lot. Yeah, I can't play anything from The Office. It's they'll monetize me on YouTube. Sorry. I know, I'd love to play that for you in real time, but I have to wait about 1 minute. Yeah, in about 1 minute I'll play it. And then we'll go right into the real meat and potatoes of the show, which is, yeah, House of the Rising Sun, and a lot of videos we've got lined up. We got 4 from Scissor Fight to review what those videos are. Tired of NASA lies? We've got FEMA executive orders that are listed that could very well affect all of us. Yep. Did President Trump just text you congrats? You may soon be getting ushered into a FEMA camp. And then Masons will help carry out the mark of the beast. And another one, NASA Mars mission exposed as a Devon Island hoax. That's going to be a good one too. They're apparently taking photographs of this weird area that they're claiming is Mars. They've photographically matched the areas that NASA have used. It's getting very complicated out there. The technology to recognize landscapes and topography can match things up rather quickly. So if NASA's trying to fake us out with landscapes from some other area in America or around the world in Iceland and claiming it's Mars, we're going to catch that. And that's what they did. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming in, everybody. As usual, it's been a pleasure doing the show, and I will be back again tomorrow with Freedom Friday. This is going to be tonight's upload. The wee hours I upload my cooking show from tonight, but today I made a pretty good chicken waffle, super chicken waffle. Super chicken waffles. They were really good. We had them for dinner. They were tasty. Yeah. So as you know, we can't do this. That's true. My show's perfect for 4 hours. Yeah, but most everything else is too long. We can't stop and we won't stop. So you've come to the right place for that. Here's my theme song, which I can't even record because they kind of constantly attack that song every time I play it. But I'll record about 5 seconds of it. See you later, everybody. Good night.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight.